Hello, and welcome back again to the Selfishly podcast. My name is Seb Corvey Sebastian. Still have not decided how to intro myself. But welcome to the episode. This is number 3 of the Selfishly podcast. Today, I've got another special guest who I'm so excited to have on the podcast. I'm just excited to talk to everyone, honestly. But it's my really good friend, Sam Whitehouse. We met back in high school, probably 2007, 2008. In the podcast, we talk a lot about Taylor Swift. That's really what this episode is all about. Sam and I have loved Taylor Swift forever. We've bonded over many Taylor Swift experiences. We talk about a lot of them, pretty much all her albums. We talk about Lover, 1989, Reputation, Fearless, Red. It's crazy. We go crazy. We talk about a lot of stuff. Speak Now. God, we spend a lot of time talking about a certain Speak Now experience, but it's amazing. It's just a fun podcast, memories we have with each other, and even at the beginning, we actually don't talk about Taylor Swift. We talk about Sam's writing, and it's just exciting to have conversations with people that you don't generally have. I'll stop talking and babbling on and enjoy the episode. Reverse screen record that, make that a video as fast as I could.
Yeah.
So that is
I
perfect
appreciate
moment.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. It's just amazing.
Amazing.
Anyway. Welcome to the Selfishly podcast. My name is Sebastian Corvey, and I'm here with my lovely, beautiful friend, Sam Whitehouse.
Hi.
How are you, Sam?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. As if we haven't been talking for like an hour and a half already.
That's fine.
How are you going? How are you feeling right now?
I'm good. I'm excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, like I said, Sam's one of my bestest, loveliest friends. I've known her since high school. Since probably year 8.
That's a long time.
But that's like 11-10 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I made
should
it
get
this
you a
far.
medal.
I need make a little trophy. It was like us high-fiving on it, made out of gold. Anyways, yes.
I'm on it.
So anyways, Sam is one of my high school friends, and we've had a long, fun relationship, friendship of life. That high school journey of like, what is being a teenager.
Yeah, it was a time.
Yeah, and here we are now as
Yeah.
adults. So I wanted to have you on here, and one of the main things I wanted to talk about was obviously Taylor Swift.
100%.
Because you are obviously the go-to Taylor Swift person.
I'm not sorry about it.
No, yeah. Sam has some wild stories that I'm so happy that we will eventually get to delve into.
Oh, no.
Because that's what I do really want to talk about, especially because Lover did just come out last week.
Yes.
So we've had a week to process it.
Yes.
We bought it,
Yep.
listened to the album all the way through,
Yep.
and it was a
Glorious.
transcendent experience. Exactly. So we'll be able to talk about that and
Alright.
every other thing Taylor Swift.
Perfect.
But before we get to that, so Sam here is a writer. She's a talented writer. She always has been.
Thank you.
When we were in high school, we used to email each other stories all the time.
We did.
Do you remember that?
We did. I
Do you
do remember that.
Do you remember what we used to write about?
They were like, it was like a hero spin-off, wasn't it?
Because we were also obsessed with heroes at the time.
Obsessed.
So we thought it would be fun to like have our own little story
Yeah.
and write a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And I remember staying up so late every night emailing and listening to like Demi Lovato or
Yeah.
Taylor
Yeah.
Swift and
Yeah.
just having a grand old
Yeah,
time.
lots of Demi Lovato.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was the best.
Yeah. Just like 2009 times.
Literally.
Yeah.
That is like a go-to era.
Yeah.
A staple in pop music.
Yeah.
Disney pop.
100%. That's like my genre. For sure.
So like I was saying, you're a big writer. You've always been writing ever
Yes.
since I've known you. Has that always been something you've done?
Yeah. Always. The first story I ever wrote was like in the younger years of primary school. I'm talking like grade 3 maybe.
Yeah.
And it was about a little bird who got lost. It was devastating and amazing.
That sounds powerful.
It was super powerful. Yeah, and then I don't know, in primary school you always did little short stories and picture books and things like that. I wrote my first novella when I was 11.
Amazing.
It was about two best friends. One was a scientist and one was a horse rider. I don't remember what happened. I don't know how they connected. Also, why is like I assume they were my age. Why was an 11-year-old like a scientist?
She was just brilliant.
Apparently. I don't know. And then, yeah, from there, it just kind of snowballed. Wrote my first book when I was 12. I wrote 2 in year 8, another one in year 9, one in year 10, and then one in year 12.
I love that.
It is astounding that I actually passed high school because clearly I didn't do much.
You were working on your portfolio the entire time.
Yeah, sure. Because
That's what
people are going to see that.
I mean, one day I can imagine a collection of short stories, all inspired by those sorts of things.
No. They will be, no.
Was it all just for like fun, or
Yeah.
was it all like I always think with my photography, like I always liked photography, but one of the things I realized that I really liked about it was that I could like create like a real thing that's happening and capture it in a picture. Does that make sense? Like the moment in the picture is a thing that happened, and I've always been about like trying to experience as much as I can. Yeah. And so like that's sort of like kind of all worked out.
It's an awesome perspective.
Like yeah. But so did you have it? Was it was it a reason to like escape or something, or was it just
I think my reasoning for a lot of my writing, and still now, is because I'm terrible at confrontation. Yeah. And it's like those moments, you know how you have an argument with someone, you don't say what you want to say, but then an hour later when you're in the shower, you're like, oh, I should have said that in that argument. Yeah. And you would have won it. It's like that. I get to say the things that I'm not brave enough to say otherwise. Yeah. And that's changed a lot since coming out of school. I'm definitely a different person now than I was when I was in year 7, obviously. But yeah, I think it just gave me the opportunity to say everything I wasn't able to say, and it let me, or allowed me to make sense of what was happening around me. Yeah, cool. Yeah.
I love that. Well, that's, I mean, totally understandable. It's like a way, I always think of like, you're right, if you have like have someone to confront or like whatever, have like an argument to have or whatever.
High school drama.
Yeah, you always would make up, I remember thinking the conversations, how that could possibly turn out. Yep. Like, depending on what you say, you know, like
a choose your own adventure sort of deal.
Exactly. Yeah. And so like the writing would just be like a easier way to put it down and be like, well, this is what could happen, I suppose. Yeah. But did you notice, because you're still writing, because right now you've finally started a course with all your writing. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I found myself in an opportunity last year where I didn't have to focus on work so hard, because it was quite mentally draining, and I needed to find something that would take me out of my work environment, and that just happened to be studying. So I did one course with the Australian Writers Centre, which was creative writing stage 1. You're probably thinking she's been creatively writing since she was 6. She doesn't need stage 1, but I did stage 1. And then I did another couple of workshops with some agents and published authors. And then I thought I'd give uni a crack. I, straight out of school, did not go to uni, was not interested whatsoever. Even though I knew I always wanted to be in publishing, I just didn't feel ready to be at that university level yet. Yeah. So I enrolled in some like prerequisite courses through open universities. So lots of like welcome to study, like this is how you study, this is how you use a library, that sort of thing. Yeah. And then in the last study term I did one creative writing course, and that was super scary. To put something out there that was being judged by complete strangers and being graded was terrifying. And that was always my biggest fear of going to uni, was that I would go and somebody would tell me that I wasn't good enough. And to even think that was a possibility, I was never strong enough to be like, no, I know this is what I want to do. Yeah.
Well, especially when it's something personal. Yeah. And that's like, it's a form of art. So it's like a creative outlet for you. Yeah. And then to have that critiqued is like obviously really hard. I remember we did the same thing with uni. Yeah. We had to like always take in prints and just like lay them all out, even if they were so bad. Yeah. And you just had to share them because that was just like the process and like of learning that critical thinking. Yeah. But it's also, like you say, it's so daunting. Yeah. And like to do that and to put it out there, especially with writing, because I feel like writing can be so subjective of like who thinks what is good and like what is bad.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I can't imagine having to grade something like that.
Yeah.
Because there's so many different ways it could go, I suppose.
Luckily, in my case, it went quite well.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, awesome.
Of course, though.
So I did like a short story assignment and a poetry portfolio.
Ooh.
Hate poetry.
Yeah.
I've never read or written poetry in my life. But I got 2 really good marks on those.
That's
so it was
awesome.
just... Yeah, and as soon as I got that short story mark back, it was like a...
Like confirmation-y, sort of like...
Yeah, it was like a light bulb moment. And I've always seen, you know, that light at the end of the tunnel sort of thing. And it was kind of like I got to the end of the tunnel and then everything kind of opened up. And I just went, this is what I was born to do. Yeah.
Well, it's like a little like nudge of like, this is coming from an external person who's not like cares about like your feelings.
Yeah.
Like it's a subjective mark.
Yeah.
And they liked it. And it's sort of just like a little like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah. And that's kind of the push I needed to go further. So I've enrolled in a Bachelor of Publishing and
amazing.
I'm gonna give that a go.
It's so exciting.
Yeah.
I was just thinking a little bit like back to what we were kind of talking about, but also like randomly off topic.
Yeah.
Have you found like the way you've been writing, like you said, you don't really like poetry and that, but have you found that it's shifted much since like you've always been writing, or has it kind of been about the same thing? Not like, obviously not the same things because your work would obviously develop, but I just mean like, is there a certain genre you really like or like how you like to write? You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I am a pantser. So I will just sit down, a pantser.
What's that mean?
Pantser. It means I will just sit down and write. I don't plan, I don't plot, I don't have any general idea of what's going on. Life. So I literally just sit down and I write. The last book I wrote, I actually started while we were overseas in America. And it was as simple as walking down a street that was covered in snow. And that's all I needed to start my next book. And within a day, I'd written 3,000 words.
That's awesome.
Yeah. There was no snow related to that book, but that's all I needed. That was a general idea. So yeah, I'd sit and I write and I write and I write. And then I usually abandon the book. But I get enough of an idea to then generate a full story.
Yeah.
In my writing hasn't changed in terms of how I write, what I write about.
Yeah.
And in saying that, what I write about hasn't really changed either. There's always some sort of conflict between friends because life again. And that's just how I figure things out and how I say what I want to say. And my biggest thing is, and my biggest thing about getting my work to somebody else is, if I can help someone go through what I went through at school, that's all there is to it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's as simple as it has to be.
You just want to help people and make people happy.
I love that. And inspire people and make them think about something, or like you said, like give them advice about something that's been hard. Yeah. Because like with books, like I read books. I usually read books at a very specific time, like if I'm traveling or if like I'm on the plane, like that's mainly when I'll read books. Yeah,
it's a good time to read.
Exactly. Yeah, I remember one time I said this before on the podcast, but I bought Gone Girl and was just like, when I was overseas, and I was just like depressed and didn't want to, like, I had to travel on the train and then got to the hotel and I didn't do anything except sit there and read for 2 days and finish the book because it was amazing. It was so good, but I just never like find the time when I'm at home to just like sit and actually read. And so I watch a lot of movies, and I love movies. I always have, because like they're essentially just like stories and like moving photos, obviously, but like being able to see a character or like that external like person that's not related to me at all go through something kind of similar is like helps me try and understand my own relationship sort of things.
It's kind of like a reassurance. That what you're feeling and what you're going through is not abnormal. That
you're not just like some like monster who's like not sure what's happening. A mutant. Exactly. But I love that. this is kind of like the perfect segue, even though I didn't want to do it so soon. But you know what? It's fine.
We always find our way.
But-
We
I
can
know.
not go to it so soon.
No,
Is that other question?
You know, no, let's go. We'll just do it because it's a perfect avenue.
That's what everyone's here for.
Yeah, we're here for Taylor Swift. Let's talk
100%.
about it right now. So
We tried.
we would. I did try. I had other ideas of
Yeah.
what to talk about, but honestly, this is just a natural route into that because
We might find our way out of it again.
yeah,
okay.
we'll see. We'll see. Yeah.
Unlikely,
Yeah.
but we'll give it a go.
Fun stories around it. There's a lot of stuff. Anyways, let's just
Yes.
enough talking about.
Let's
Let
do
me
it.
ask the question. So, I obviously find with Taylor Swift is that her music, she's always been able to, like you've been saying, like write songs and stories that you can relate to and gives you sort of like that perspective of like, oh, I'm not really alone sort of thing, you know, with music and stuff. That's one of the main reasons. Like, I love hearing all the new lyrics whenever she brings out new songs because she's such a good storyteller.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have like a similar?
Do I feel the same?
Yeah. Do you feel the same? Yeah.
100%. I think and I hate to go down this road because everybody does it, but Taylor Swift writes about relationships. And while that mostly takes a romantic form, the lyrics can be taken in any way. You can transform it into any type of relationship that you relate it to. Her first album in particular was one that resonated with me as I kind of transform my friendship groups. So yeah, everything she does is just unreal.
And so her Taylor Swift album, was that the first one you heard as well?
Self-titled. The first song I heard of Taylor Swift's was Our Song.
So there's going to be a lot of like gasps
Yeah.
this entire time.
That's
So
fine.
let's
You
go
can
with
deal
it.
with that later.
I know. I mean, they're going to edit them or just be like, no, they're
Just
staying. Yeah.
I specifically remember driving back from rep basketball on a Friday night with my dad, and it was playing on the radio, and I remember making him sit in the driveway and wait until the song was done so I could like listen to the whole thing, find out who it was. Like, I was fully intending to deep dive into Taylor Swift's world. And that's what I did, except I didn't get any further than Our Song. I downloaded Our Song and listened to it on repeat for years.
She's got headphones in right now.
Right now. It's still on.
So like much of the other rest of the album, or literally just like that
Literally
one?
just that
Sorry,
song.
I love
Yeah.
that.
I didn't get any further than that.
When would that have been? Was that when like Fearless and that were out, or was it literally when that album had come out?
Yeah, I reckon it was.
That would be like
when did?
because Fearless came out in 2008.
Yeah.
So I think, and she's generally does them every 2 years. So I think 2006
would have been year 7. I didn't play basketball past year 8. Rep basketball. So
it would have been.
that would have been before Fearless.
Wow. So you're an OG fan.
I'm an OG fan. I take that very personally and proudly. I wear that badge of honor all the time.
Through it. Well, I was actually thinking about this the other day because we were kind of lucky that we were in that like teenage era of when she was like continuously releasing stuff and tours and music and everything, blah de da.
Yeah.
But we were in that like high school chunk
Yeah.
of like dealing with all like teenager stuff.
Yeah.
As she was creating all this new music, and
Yeah.
now like we can obviously still appreciate all this stuff, but
Always.
like it was so I would always remember. I remember one day the Story of Us music video from Speak Now came out, and you had to come to school after recess, and you're like, I downloaded it, we're gonna watch it, come meet me in the classroom. And I had to like go meet you, and you were there with like 2 of your other friends, and we just all sat there watching the music video,
I
just
was
like
gonna say,
dying.
that is so funny because I have a completely different memory of watching that video.
Do you?
Yeah.
What? Tell me.
I remember being in class, but I remember like physically, like we were in the middle of an English class, and I was sitting up against the window, like huddled in the corner with my laptop, down to the table, so I was watching by like a slit. And I had my headphones in, and I was playing the video, and my friends were sitting next to me who are not Taylor Swift people, and I mean, you've seen the Story of Us video.
Yes.
Picture it without sound. There there are questions. People have questions about this video. She's like slamming books on tables, and she's, you know, there's a whole story going on there. And I just remember my friends looking at me being like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on here? I don't understand. And it just turned into this, like, literally, I don't understand why you like Taylor Swift. Why are you so obsessed with her? Why you like this? And it turned into a really negative space.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's funny that you remember it that, because I don't remember you being there.
Oh.
And unless I got over it. And
unless maybe we watched it a second time.
Yeah.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I never even knew.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I obviously always knew people were so judgy about like what music you personally like, which is strange. But you know what I mean?
Each to their own.
I didn't think it was like that. Because I feel like whenever I think of Taylor Swift, I'd immediately think of you.
Yes.
And the years of adventure, Taylor Swift adventures we've had together.
So many adventures.
So that's crazy though that I didn't even know that it was like that. I mean, to be honest, I did know you didn't have the best circle of friends and stuff like that. But I didn't know that it was like that specific. Because that's just like something that you like.
Yeah.
Why does it have to be negative about it?
Yeah.
Do you mind talking about that more?
I can talk about it more.
Yeah. How long did that happen for? Was that for like your high school, like
the whole time
friendship?
I was friends with this particular circle of friends, it was like that.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. That wasn't even the start of it. It was like as soon as I kind of entered this friendship group, it was Sam doesn't like the same things as us, or she doesn't understand, you know, terms that we use because we're in a particular activity group, things like that. I was constantly made to feel unwelcome and was torn down for my music choices, my books, and eventually it got to the point where I thought I could trust these people enough to show them my writing, and they tore me to shreds. Ugh. And I didn't write anything for a year. No. But because I like to have faith in people and I believe in second chances, I stayed friends with that group of people. And I stayed friends with them well out of high school. And they continued to tear down my choices, like my job and other people that I would hang out with. And it's not a nice environment to be with.
No,
you shouldn't be surrounding yourself with people who make you feel like that.
That's terrible. That they would even like pretend to be like, we're friends with you, to then treat you say that they can treat you like that. Yeah. Like that's like next level awful. Yeah.
I mean, I've grown up a lot since then. Like the way I cut myself out of that friendship group was not nice. I was not friendly to them at all. And at the time I thought it was justified, but they didn't see what they were doing wrong. Yeah. So it was completely left to field for them. Yeah. And it was a good 4 years before I figured out or came to terms with what I did and how harmful I was to them and what my actions were. So I actually reached out and apologized to them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. That's and it was a big thing to do. Yeah. And
a lot of people wouldn't even bother.
Yeah.
They would just like be like, well, that's what happens, and then just like move on with life. But you actually like stepped up and like took responsibility for it. Whereas, and that already shows that you're a bigger person than them because they weren't even aware in the first place of how like shitty that time was. And then to be able for you to like go back and realize like you didn't handle it the best way. Yeah. Like that's a mature thing to do. A lot of people don't do that.
Yeah. I think there's something to be said about, you know, you grow up in age, like you age, but then you grow up in maturity as well. Yeah. And so much of your personality changes. It was an interesting time for sure, but it didn't sit right with me, what I'd done. Even though I was completely aware of what I was doing at the time, as I've grown and I've seen other relationships change, I've realized that, hang on, I actually don't want to be remembered as that person.
Yeah.
Like I'm not that person, and I don't want to be remembered by that. So I reached out and I apologized. And I'm actually friendly with them now. So
Well, good.
yeah,
Well,
it's
I mean,
good.
yeah. Well, I mean, all life I think about sometimes is how life is literally just about a bunch of experiences we have to go through, and then try to find the good in, regardless of what they are, and just try to grow as people.
Yeah.
Because what else otherwise are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
What's the point?
What's the point in the like honest greater scheme?
Yeah. One of the sayings that I've always hated and never believed in was that everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
And whenever someone would say that to me when I was leaving a job or I'd lost a friend or whatever the situation was, and someone would say everything would happen for a reason, I would crack it. I was not interested in hearing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But looking back on it now, everything does happen for a reason, even if you don't realize it.
Yeah. Well, it's always like when you're in those moments and you're really feeling it, like you're not trying to think of like the next thing. You're just trying to be like, I'm trying to process with what is like happening right now. Like, I know in the future, it'll probably calm down and things will be better. And like you said, like light at the end of the tunnel, like things happen for a reason. Like you are the result of everything that's happened to you.
Correct.
But like you said, in the time,
it's hard to see that.
Yeah, exactly.
In the present.
Like, just emotions can blur things for you, I suppose.
Yeah. And I think that comes with age.
Yeah, exactly.
There's something to be said about your mid-20s, man. I don't know what it is.
Everything's changing. I'm realizing everything.
Yeah.
I realize I'm awful.
It's like an epiphany every 2 minutes. Like,
wow. This is why. No.
This is why this happened. This is why I was a shit person at that stage.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it's too real though.
No wonder we all have anxiety.
Yeah. No wonder we're all sad about it.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'll like sometimes just be sitting there and have a random flashback to a cringy moment or something, like just thinking of something I did, and I'm just like, oh, why would I do that? Or why would I act like that?
Yeah.
And I just like cringe to my soul. And the only thing that like helps stop that is being like, at least in this moment, I'm the only one remembering this. And
Yeah,
so
true.
I'm the only one cringing.
God, you just hope that nobody else remembers it.
Oh my gosh, don't even.
Like,
well, having this podcast, I've come to learn that a lot of my memories, a lot of people who are in them have completely different perspectives, like we just said, of that memory.
Yeah.
So it might not be as cringy.
Yeah.
Or,
I guess your memories are always focused on what you did.
Yeah.
As opposed to... No, like, so your perspective on that Story of Us video was what you saw and how you felt and your emotions connected to it. And what I was thinking about was my emotions and how I was connected to it. And that's why we saw it so differently and remember it so differently.
Yeah. And I love that.
Crazy.
I love that. It's like those movies where like it's the same point in time, but it's 10 different people, like all like interconnected by this one thing. Yeah. Makes me think of Heroes, and just like now I just randomly remembered because in the final season 1 and they had that battle in Kirby Plaza with the red staircase thing. And it's set in New York, and
they all kind of came together.
Yeah, they all came together. It was amazing. Oh, that was so good. That first season was
They should have ended it there.
They should have.
Just went all downhill from there.
My problem has always been that they just should have killed Sylar off there.
100%.
And then just had a different villain, which they kind of did, but they just kept bringing him back, and then he was good, and then he was bad, and then he was good, and then he was bad.
Spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, spoiler alert. But like, hell,
who watches Heroes anymore anyway? They've probably done like 3 reboots of it now, right?
Well, they had that second reboot.
Yeah.
But it was like just too strange. Yeah, it wasn't like the original one. And they killed Claire. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Rude.
Literally.
But also, spoiler alert, Claire dies every second episode. So,
so I mean, is it really a spoiler?
Catch up,
yeah.
But if you don't know what her power is, you've missed the point.
Yeah, then
see you later.
Just skip out of this already.
What was the save the cheerleader? Save the world?
Save the cheerleader, save the world.
Oh man.
Iconic.
We're gonna have to rewatch it now.
I think so. That like
pretty sure I still have
that was like a definitive moment in high school, like early high school.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with Heroes.
Oh. It was a time.
It was so good though. It was like a mesh of it's so good though. It was like the first season of Heroes, which was the best. Taylor Swift was releasing Fearless.
Yep.
And Speak Now and like Red and all that. That's all. Like, what a great time.
Yeah.
No, there were obviously other things, but just those two things, I was happy with them.
Yeah. But when Heroes got cancelled,
yeah, that's a
different story.
Yeah, that was another story.
That
Thank
was
God,
not a happy memory.
thank God Taylor has never been like, I'm not making music. Has she been like
I
that?
thought you were going to say Taylor has not been cancelled, and I was like,
Oh,
have you remembered anything from the rap era?
We'll have to get to that.
We have so many albums to get through
So-
before this.
Well,
Buckle up, everybody.
I think the best way, because we've kind of been jumping a lot.
We
Well,
have.
I'll try to stick to a timeline.
Yeah.
So we'll start with. So we talked about your first song was Our Song.
Yes.
That was off
What was
of
your
Taylor.
first song?
My first song was Fearless. It was Love Story.
Yeah.
It was the classic, like
Classic.
playing every day on the radio.
Yeah.
I remember driving to my sister's debutante ball rehearsal to pick her up, and the radio was playing and Taylor Swift was playing, and I was like, who is this? This is amazing. I love this music. So Mum and I went to Target and we bought the Fearless album.
Love your work.
Oh, amazing. And we listened to, because we would always drive from school to home, and that was the album we would listen to.
Yeah.
So it was just enough time for the first 4 songs. So for so long I only listened to those 4 songs.
I mean, they're an excellent first 4 songs.
Yeah.
That's a
Fearless,
great starter.
15, Love Story, and Hey Stephen.
Oh,
What a cute bunch of songs.
what an excellent bunch of songs.
But they were my ones, and they were that was honestly all the Taylor Swift I listened to for ages. We went on a camp and I bought a new iPod.
Yep.
And the only albums I put on it was Avril Lavigne's Let Go and the first 4 songs of Fearless.
You didn't even put the whole album
I
on.
put the first 4 songs on. I don't even know why.
Sebastian.
And I remember listening to it at nighttime to help me try to go to sleep. And
Smart.
I listened to it so loudly that the guy in the tent would have just been like, who is this crazy person listening to Taylor Swift to go to sleep? Like, it was loud.
Better than Avril Lavigne.
I know.
So I'm just saying.
Very
I'm just
true.
saying.
But that was my first one. And I'm pretty sure just from that point, I was just like, I'm in. Like,
Yeah.
I liked her.
That's
Because she was
awesome.
like, because Fearless, we're just going to jump into Fearless. We
Sure.
can jump back to Taylor Swift. There's no pressure.
I don't think
no
I've
pressure.
got anything else to say about Taylor Swift.
But I remember just being like, she's like country, she's pop, she writes amazingly, and I was like, I can relate to these songs because there was like one song called Breathe that I love, and she was always like, this is about because everyone always says it's about relationships, and it's true, like all different kinds of relationships.
Yeah.
But this one particular song was about having a best friend and you're just like not friends anymore.
Yeah.
And it was sort of about that thing. And I remember listening to it so dramatically and
Yeah.
being like, oh, this is my life.
Like that staring out the window, pretending you're in a music video vibe.
Always. Always.
Yes. Quick note on Love Story.
Yeah.
Hated it
Why?
when it was first
Did you?
released. Like,
I suppose after our song, you would have been just like,
where do you go
what
from
is
there?
that?
Like-
Yeah. Well, it would have been how from like Red, which kind of like was beginning to be more poppy, but was still a little bit like country rocky, sort of like mixed. And then suddenly she just like jumped to 1989,
Yeah.
and it was just, like really poppy. Like so many people were just like, "What is this? Who is
they
she?"
were off the bandwagon.
Yeah, and
they are
they-
no longer welcome.
Yeah, well, they exactly. They don't deserve
No,
what
we're
came
friendly.
after
We're
that.
friendly.
You can
Anyways,
ride in a boot.
yeah, yeah. You can bring some noise cancelling earphones,
Yeah.
and you have to put up with it.
Yeah.
No, but because it was sort of like that country to pop, like even, but then that was like true country, her like true country.
Yeah.
And then slowly going towards the like poppy more country. Was that like a shock? Were you just like not here for it at all?
I think so.
We're just expecting more country.
I don't know. Everything about it, I just hated.
The music video as well.
I don't remember.
The music video was pretty cute.
Super cute.
She was on the random like
and like running up
thing.
a castle in that dress. 100%. I'm there for it.
I'm surprised she hasn't fallen over as much as she could have.
True.
Because she's
She has
so
had some
tall.
spectacular moments though. Yeah.
Iconic outfits and like. Is that what
Yeah,
you mean?
the
You
costume
mean like
changes?
yeah? Oh yeah.
Yeah. We'll get to those.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh! Yes, I remember we were there and we were front row. hold on. We'll get
Wait.
to that. Because that whole night is a podcast in itself.
Correct.
I'll just say we went to the Speak Now tour together, and it was an experience. Twice, both
Yeah.
the nights.
Yeah. It was a time. We'll get to that.
We'll
We're only up to the second.
Yeah, we're only up to the Fearless
Please
part.
hold.
So,
you know, like, I don't know if you can picture it, but like leaning across people and car seats to reach for the radio to turn it off is what I was doing every time Love Story came on. Like, I was viciously against it.
just like, oof, you were just over it.
Just
you were
done.
just done.
I was just done.
Just cuz.
Yep.
That's it. And what about like when you heard the rest of the album? Did you like it?
Yes.
I mean, well, obviously.
You belong with me. Is all I have to say. That clapping.
But that was
Sam's there for it. It's my fave.
Because that was the
my
second single as well.
Yes, it was.
But when you first heard the album, was it what you kind of like going off of Love Story? Do you expect it to be how it was, or were you expecting not to like it?
Yeah.
And then you were just like,
Yeah.
oh my god, no.
But I find that that's not usually how it goes, but the lead singles that she does vary greatly from the content of the album.
That's very true.
They're always so different from what you actually get. And that's just the journey of a Taylor Swift album, is that she pulls you in and then flips everything on its head.
True. Even with Lover, Me, with Brendan Urie, that was not the best lead single.
No.
I actually liked the song. It wasn't my favorite. To put it out there and make sure it's like remembered in history. If whoever's listening to this right now, goes and listens to Me on Apple Music, the line, "Hey kids, spelling is fun," is no longer there. It's gone.
You missed out on a time.
You missed out on
I'm sorry for
an
your loss.
iconically cringe lyric.
Was terrible. I wonder if it's still in the video.
Oh, I'm sure.
Surely.
Because when they have to take the video down to re-edit it
Yeah, I
or like crop
guess.
it, and there's so many millions of views.
Yeah, true. I still sing it.
Yeah, I mean now
I can't help
now
it.
that it's been there, and that's like one thing I will give to people. There's sometimes where Taylor is like Taylor cringe.
Yes.
Like she's
like there is a lot going on. Like
Yeah.
too much.
Sometimes she'll put out a song and it'll just be like that, like just that, like that's the Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like trying to think of a good example. For some reason, the first song that comes to my mind is Stay, 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 even though I love it and it's very cute. I remember hearing it and being like, this is a song that Taylor Swift could only do. Otherwise, I would not listen to it for 1 second.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Can you think of any like that?
Um,
Because I feel bad now for being like, it's a typical thing of her to do, but I can't think of any specific moments where she does that. But I know she does.
Girl at Home was one for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was very much like
So
this is 100% a Taylor Swift song.
the Red Deluxe.
Red Deluxe.
Red Deluxe. Oh,
Excellent.
Red.
Red.
An excellent melt.
When we're still not there. We haven't done Speak Now yet. We haven't even finished Fearless.
Okay,
no.
sorry. Back to Fearless though. So, I was like notoriously obsessed with the platinum version of Fearless.
Yes, you were.
I loved the album a lot.
Yep.
Like I said, I specifically loved those first 4 songs the most.
Didn't even listen to the rest of the album. Just
But when I did get to listen to it, I was obsessed.
Yeah.
Because it was always just like... I always just thought she was like the best writer. And I just thought the songs were the funnest to sing along to. And usually when I'm like listening to a song, in my mind sometimes I'll think of how it might go. Or like how I think like how I would want it to go. To be like, I want it to like build in the bridge and have like an intense thing, which usually most songs do.
Yes,
but I always...
if you listen to any Taylor Swift album,
Literally.
she builds in the bridge.
It's my
Her bridges are
favorite
iconic.
part. It's my favorite part.
back to December.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, that's such a sad song. That music video, that is one of my favorite music videos of her.
Yes.
If you haven't seen the Back to December music video, it is off the Speak Now album and it's about Taylor Lautner.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Fun fact.
And she's pretty much at home being sad about a boy, Taylor Lautner.
She's moping in an excellent cardigan with a beautiful hairdo.
And the room that she's in looks amazing.
And it's snowing in the house.
Exactly, and that's the thing. It's snowing in the house because wants to go back to December, and he's outside walking in the snow. Ugh, it's my favorite. She always comes up with these really like just bizarre ideas. Like even
And then she portrayed that in concert.
She
We're
is
still not there. We can't
amazing for her tours and her Speak Now tour specifically. Especially like, we'll get to Speak Now.
We'll get there.
We've been jumping.
We're nearly there.
We're nearly okay. Yes, you're right. We're literally nearly right there. So, anyways,
Deluxe version of Fearless.
yes, Untouchable is my song.
Always forever connected to you.
Literally, I think I listened to that song more than 1,000 times, and that's not an exaggeration.
Nope.
I used to literally play that on repeat and message people to tell them to download it because it was my song.
Yep.
It was just so good.
I'm surprised you don't have something tattooed on you somewhere that says Untouchable is the greatest lyric of all time. Or do you?
Oh, do I?
He hesitated.
It's hidden somewhere. No. I wouldn't be able to. I just don't really want one.
Yeah, fair enough.
But
Me neither.
I would want something that can dedicate that
Yes.
if I did.
Yes.
But I just thought that song was always so beautiful. And that it was like as a young, like, gay man growing up, always felt like it was just like like a secret, like that secret love you have in your head of like what you wish something could be. And I just felt like that was like the most perfect thing. And because I always love stars and she's singing about stars and stuff. Yeah. But that song like got me through year 8. Not
Year 8.
You literally
Little baby Bastion.
In year 8.
What a cutie.
Staying up till 2 a.m. writing you emails, listening to Untouchable on repeat. I remember getting it at Christmas time and like listening to the 6 songs so much. Especially because at that time, like I said, I had only gotten the iPod at the start of the year, so I didn't have much of a music collection. And I had started laptop class that year, and really
laptop class, iconic.
I know.
Thanks, Flinders.
Now, like, there's iPads and laptops in every single classroom ever. But I remember the only time I really listened to music was when I was in the car with like mom or whatever, like, or if it was on like a music video channel or whatever. And so I finally was like, oh, like I can listen to music whenever now. And I would just like start flowing things in, and it was always just like a couple songs off the album, or like not even always the whole album. But I remember I never used to like know about like alternate versions or like deluxe editions or like demos.
Game changer.
And so when Platinum version came out, I was like, there's new music on this.
Oh my goodness.
And everything's different.
Oh my goodness.
And artists make a lot of music, not just what's on the album. And my brain exploded.
Yeah.
And
it's a time.
I never went back.
Nope.
Now I'm just like, did you know there's a demo? Did you know there's a demo instrumental version of a blah, blah, blah? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for that now.
Yep.
Like, I'm so in it.
Yeah. Like her voice recordings from the deluxe versions of Lover. Don't even get me started.
They're even more amazing because she started doing that on like 1989. And just like we were talking about at the start with the storytelling and everything.
Yep.
I love having that insight to how she gets to where to where the song turns out.
Yeah.
Because I love music. Like I love listening to it and everything and singing awfully along with it.
Me too.
But I wouldn't be able to like write or make my own.
Nah.
So like, and I can play the recorder.
Amazing.
And I had a triangle once.
Amazing.
But I lost the string that made it so you didn't like stop it from working. But anyways, that's not the point.
struggles.
The struggles of a 7-year-old triangle player. But anyways, I just was always curious by how musicians got to like develop that like melody and made everything sound so amazing. And so when she finally was releasing them, I was like, this is perfect. These are the best things. Yeah. And I'm not even fussed that like on her deluxe version, she usually had extra songs like with Red Girl at Home and Ours and stuff. But what was that? Yeah. No, Ours was Speak Now. Not yeah. That was a Speak Now deluxe.
Yeah. Excellent. Another excellent deluxe version.
So good. But I'm not even mad that instead of new songs, they're the voice memos, because they kind of just like demo versions of the songs.
Yeah.
Like on track 20 on Lover is the Lover voice memo, and she's playing it on the piano, and you can just like, she's just working through it, and just just amazing. Oh, amazing. Not even that one. I Forgot You Existed. She
Yeah.
did the voice memo for that as well.
Yeah.
And at the start, it's literally just her at home playing on the piano, and she's figuring out
what chords to use.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
like, and then suddenly after like maybe like 4 runs through, she just like adds another part in, and it just like
Yeah.
feels even more and more like a actual song. And
Yeah.
it's just like, your mind, what is that?
You've
I
what?
love that
Yes.
so much.
Please share.
What did you think of Fearless? Like, if you, we'll get to like a more casual based ranking, but
Yes.
like, when you think of Taylor Swift, is it like an important album? Like, I would
Yes.
say Platinum Fearless is like one of my most important Taylor Swift albums.
Yeah. Not platinum so much,
No,
but the album itself,
it's high up there.
yeah, it's up there.
It's always hard to choose because
I can't even think about it. You're just gonna have to ask me, and I'll have to answer real quick,
it's because
like burning questions.
yeah, true. We'll get to like an action round because that'll
Excellent.
be the best way. You won't think about it; it'll literally
No.
be your first response.
You'll need to time me
And
though,
that's
because
what
I'll
I
think
need.
about it.
Yeah, I'll be like, nah,
30 seconds,
nah.
go.
There's actually a game show version of this.
Ooh.
No. That would
I
be
love
so
a game
fun.
show. Next time.
Next time, I'm gonna have to develop that idea.
100%.
Anyways,
Anyway.
we didn't go to the Fearless tour together.
No, we didn't.
But
Did you go?
I did go to that.
Excellent.
That was amazing. I remember
Excellent.
taking this tiny, shitty little digital camera, and the photos it took were like, they were literally like, like 12
even-
kilobytes.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
tiny. It was the picture image was the size of the tiny screen.
Yeah.
And I just remember taking photos the entire time, but just like being in awe.
Yeah.
Because she was so pretty.
Yeah.
And she was also just
Those curls.
amazing live. Her curly hair was iconic. I remember when she
Iconic.
first started straightening it. That's how deep we're in this. I remember when
That
she
was the
first started.
time.
It was like full back to December. She started straightening it.
She did too.
And I remember it was such a
Oh, speak
controversy.
now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Which
Oh,
is so
yeah.
strange.
Yeah. Yep.
But let's just get into it.
R.I.P.
Let's talk
curly
about
hair.
Speak Now.
Okay.
First things I want to put out there is Speak Now is the one album that was done like she wrote all the songs herself.
Correct.
She like did all the producing. I mean, I think she had help with producers, but it was mainly self-made. Like
Correct.
it's all entirely her.
Correct.
And the stories in the music and the songs, they're all perfect.
It's a very cohesive album.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Which
say
makes
that.
it one of her best.
Which is funny at the same time because they all feel like such different themes, but it's not so much about like the theme like with Fearless it was kind of like that teenager like first relationships, like dealing with all that sort of stuff, and that was the theme, whereas and the aesthetic was kind of that same like teenage princessy sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas the Speak Now, it was like all the song themes were different. So
Yeah.
there was the Back to December, which felt really like sad and snowy.
Yeah.
And then there was one, the closing track, Long Live. And that's just like that's just like a perfect tour
anthem.
song.
an
Anthem, you know what I mean? And they were all, so they're all like and even Mean, like that's like
Yeah.
they're very specific, but in the overall idea of Speak Now,
Yeah.
they fit so perfectly.
Yeah.
And even though they're all like so different, it's just like perfect.
Perfect.
I remember the rollout of it, and when she first released Mine, and
Yeah,
it
such
was
a cute
such a
song.
cute,
And the
like,
video
sweet
was
song.
amazing.
It was so like sweet and cute, and
Yeah.
innocent, and it just felt like a further progression
Yeah.
of what she had done before.
Yep.
Like, and that's one thing I'll always give Taylor is that I find she's so like each progression in the album and her genre style, it doesn't seem like a huge leap forward. It always felt like she was kind of leaning into it
Yep.
in the album beforehand.
Yeah.
Even with the like promo singles that come out, not even to do with the albums, but come out in between. Like Today Was a Fairy Tale. Like
What a time.
that was
Sweeter Than Fiction. Sweeter
Oh,
Than Fiction
Sweeter
was
Than
one of
Fiction
my
was
favorites.
amazing. Although I'm like, I love that song, but I will say I have a bad memory where that was playing in the background. And so
Tainted.
it's been tainted. But
Okay,
I
we'll bench
do
that.
love it so much. But that one was in between Speak Now and Red,
Yeah.
or Red in 1989. I should have written these
That's a good
down.
question.
I'm pretty sure, because it was,
Well, it was
Today Was a Fairy Tale.
2013. No, it was
No.
between Red and 1989.
Yeah, because
yeah.
the most perfect in-between singles, Eyes Open and
Yes.
Safe and Sound,
Yes.
was
Yes.
in between Fearless and Speak Now. No, it was in between Speak Now and Red. Sorry.
Yeah.
Those songs were amazing.
That whole Hunger Games era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we were blessed because we got to go to that.
The concert!
Oh my god, the Speak Now
We're here.
concert.
Brace yourself, everybody.
And that
This
song,
is the time.
we're entering the period. I'm so
Welcome to the roller coaster.
She was performing a special song at every single concert, and
Correct.
it's different for each one. And I remember for so long I was like, it has to be Untouchable. And then when it came out, and she did Safe and Sound, and I listened to that song nearly just as much as Untouchable.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the most beautiful songs.
So
that she's
beautiful.
written ever,
Yeah.
or has just ever existed.
Yeah. It's excellent.
So we went to both nights of the Speak Now tour.
We did.
Um,
This was back in the day where she would play at Rod Laver and
Yes.
tickets were $100 to get into the pit.
They weren't gigantic stadiums like
Yep.
the Marvel one that she was just did the rep tour at or anything. It was the more. It's funny to
Intimate.
say intimate.
Yeah. Because she can still
Considering-
put on a really intimate show.
Yeah, exactly. And she just does really good set design and like
Yep.
the way there's like a narrative to the
Yep.
tours is
Yep.
like even more like embrace it, like makes the whole thing
It's a
feel
whole experience. isn't it?
exactly. And that's really what you want to go for.
Mm.
And she's always been about that, especially with all her songs, like being able to, like I was saying the other day, the way she can write songs and they can like stick to a specific memory.
Yep.
Or at least I always like yeah, with some songs there's always just like a way that it's just so, whenever I hear it I'm just like taken back to a specific moment.
Yeah.
And she has that same thing even with the tour. Like when you hear her songs you can easily think back to them because just the way she did it was all like
Yeah.
a full
production
show.
of it,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. It was a production.
Yeah.
And she still even sounded amazing.
Yeah.
Anyways. And she gives the corniest, perfect, most amazing monologues
Yes.
in my life.
I love them all.
I'm always here for a good monologue. I
We love
love
a
a
good
monologue. And she does
She's
them all
the
the time.
queen of them.
Amazing. But yeah, so there were the 2 nights and we wanted to go to both
Yes.
because we were obsessed with Speak Now and Taylor Swift.
Yes.
And for so long, we had been finding out from other like Swifties on Tumblr.
Yes. Thank you, American Swifties.
Yes, that she would go to the backstage.
Yep.
In the middle of a break of Speak Now.
Yep.
And she would walk around through the front crowd.
Yep.
And it was our mission for, I don't even know what we were really expecting to happen, but we just wanted to be there,
Yep.
like close by.
Yeah.
I kind of want you to talk about it
my
because
God.
this is the defining moment for you, and we'll talk. I want to talk about other like Speak Now and stuff,
Okay,
but I feel
yeah.
like we have to get this out of the way because
Yeah.
it's perfect. What
So-
happened, Sam?
I'm going to start with the first concert that we went to
Yeah.
because we were on the barrier. And as if
Yes.
that wasn't,
Oh, so
like we
true.
were on the barrier the entire
So, yeah.
show. It was unreal. We were so close to everybody. But that wasn't enough for Sam and Seb, was it?
Nope.
No, it was not, my friends. We went to the second concert. And this is after like lining up for hours, like both shows. I think we had signs for one of them.
We used to go to Rod Laver so early.
So early.
Like when everyone would line up before any of it would even open.
Yep.
Which made it so much fun being able to do
So
that, like
good.
taking the day off school
Yep.
just to get there early for a concert.
Yep.
I remember one time it was so hot.
So
Then we
hot.
ended up walking to like 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I think
We
so.
were in- it was
I
in
think that was
Melbourne.
Speak Now, actually.
That probably was.
Because that was in March, so it probably would have been.
Wild. Well, we walked all the way
Crazy.
from Rod Laver to Fed Square,
We did too.
all the way back because there was like nothing around
No.
to get.
No.
And we were dying.
It was hot. It was
so
hot.
But yes, the second show, I don't even think we tried to get up the front.
No,
For the second
For the
show?
second one, because for the first night, we were so close
Yeah.
that we were like, okay, now, because we were so close and you're squished in with everybody and
Yeah.
everyone's elbowing each other and
Yeah.
teenagers are awful now.
Yeah, squealy teenage
No.
girls are the worst.
At a concert that their favorite person is at,
Yeah.
that's when it's like that scene in Mean Girls where
Yeah.
they're at the shopping center and
Yeah.
everyone turns into an animal.
Yeah.
It's literally like that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And I mean, no shame in that.
Nope.
We got to the
We
front
were there.
that way.
We did that. Yeah, I'm not denying that we weren't like that, but
Yeah, you elbowed me.
Ew.
I accidentally might elbow
Yeah.
you back.
yeah,
But
you get what you give.
no,
my
but
friend.
yeah, exactly. So we had that full-on experience of like
Yeah.
being right at the front.
Yeah.
And so for the second night, I remember we just agreed that it's going to be more chill if we just go at the
Yep.
back and actually be able to listen to the music and not have to like
I think
be
that was the
sweating and
biggest part of
worrying.
it. It was that you couldn't actually hear anything when you were right on the barrier. It was just everyone around you screaming.
Yeah, scream singing.
Yeah,
like
we wanted to
intense.
get back and be able to actually see the show.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it was like, and I think we were both happy with that because it the first night satisfied that like primal urge to like
Yes.
get close to the barrier
Yeah.
and like fully enjoy the show. But
Yeah.
the second night was just so much better because we had our space at the back. We didn't have to worry about getting there super early or like
Yep.
having to not go to the bathroom so we didn't have to lose our spot. Like
Yeah.
all those little things that go into like waiting to get a good spot.
Yeah.
We were just like, no, let's just enjoy it and stand at the back.
And that is what we did.
And it was also the best thing we could have done
Uh-huh.
because, like we said before, we had heard that she would walk to a back middle stage.
Yes, we did.
And so during Speak Now, she's like singing and there's like a whole production on stage, like
Yep.
a fake church. And
Yep.
she's like doing a...
Interrupting
a
she
wedding
was in a
and-
purple dress. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Was that also, before we continued, the night that she had the fan thing? Was that the thing I thought you were going to
don't
talking about
remember.
before? She had like wardrobe malfunction. Or was that a completely
No,
different time?
I don't think that was us.
Maybe I'm just crazy.
There is a video of that online. Though.
Yeah, because I thought it was...
I don't think it was us.
I thought it was in... Maybe I'm just thinking it was us.
Huh,
It might have been in Australia, though.
Maybe.
Anyways,
Anyway.
I'm probably going to cut this out.
Enjoy future sales.
Yeah,
To this.
thank God.
You're welcome.
Yes. Just a creepy voice comes
Yeah.
from nowhere.
Yeah.
It's mine. Anyways, it's totally sidetracked. So anyways, during the middle of Speak Now, she would be performing, and on stage there was this whole production going on of like a fake church, and it's all amazing, and she was singing, and suddenly this long drawn out instrumental of it's going, and she's not
Yep.
singing, but she starts to like come down
She
into the
starts
audience.
to walk.
What's going on with you at that moment?
I'm having an internal breakdown.
Because at this moment, either everyone is rushing to the backstage at
Correct.
the back of the mosh,
Correct.
or they're
Staying at the
standing
front.
still to get a better, closer seat at the
Yeah.
front, or everyone's, not everybody, but there was like maybe a row or two of people like making a like a lane in between everybody that she was going through, lined with security people, and we would just happen to be in the spot where we could like be right on that.
Yes, we
On
just
that area.
happened to be there.
It was all planned.
It was planned.
We knew this was happening.
We knew exactly.
One of the
what was
reasons
gonna
we
happen.
wanted to stay at the back was to enjoy the music, but also because we knew she was going to walk there.
Yes, we did.
I remember on the first night, we were like, we can just go crazy at the front because we know tomorrow night
Yep.
we'll bother.
Yep.
Because we ended up getting an even better spot
Yes, we did.
at the front because everyone
Yeah.
ran away.
See you bye.
But okay. The crowd is parting like the sea. She's
It
walking
didn't
down.
part down the middle, did it?
No, around it,
Yeah,
in like
around
an
the
arch
edges.
shape.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
trying
right.
to. I'm just
Okay.
trying
I
to
was like,
set the
sorry,
scene
set the
and be
scene.
dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah. Build
Yeah.
me up.
The crowd is parting like the Red Sea. Security guards are lining the aisleway, and she's making her way through the crowd as Speak Now is playing.
Yeah.
What is happening for you this moment? People are flocking everywhere. There's chaos.
People are going crazy. I am standing on the line. You are behind me. My other friend is next to me. She's got no idea what's going on. I lock eyes with a security guard, and he's like, "Don't." And I'm like, "I'm gonna."
I'm doing it.
And it was literally, she stepped off stage. I couldn't even see her, but she stepped off stage, and that was it. I was hysterical. Like, Taylor Swift's gonna walk past me. This is amazing. I am in the vicinity of a superstar. And I was crying, and the security guard was laughing at me. I don't even know what you were doing. I don't know what my other friend was doing. It was just this complete, like, I am in a bubble
Oh my
of
gosh.
Taylor Swift happiness, and this is peak. Like, this is it cannot get better than this. Except it did.
And then what happened, Sam?
And she hugged
I saw that she was crying, and she was like, oh, "Please don't cry." Do you remember?
me. I was like, I love you so much. And she was like, I love you too. Thank you so much for coming. And I'm literally tearing up as we speak because
I remember she embraced you, and you were just holding her crying, and other people were trying to get in on it, but it was
No.
already like concrete.
That bubble was happening. There
was
was no
amazing.
poking through that.
I was so happy when that happened because like I've obviously we've been talking about, like, Sam has been the biggest like Taylor Swift person, and for so long we tried so well, not at that point, even now we always wanted like the secret club, whatever
meet
it's
and
called.
greet.
Yeah. But there's always people who dress up and like go
Yeah.
even like more out, so
Yeah.
like kudos to them.
Congratulations.
Like,
I
but
hate
also
you all.
super jealous. Exactly. But for you to have that moment was just like so perfect.
I
I tried to record it with my phone, but it was ended up just being like a muffled recording of some girl's like arm or
Yeah.
something, and chaos.
yeah.
And so, but at the same time, like, I wish I had gotten it like properly, just
Yeah.
because, I mean, why wouldn't you? But at the
Yeah.
same time, I'm kind of okay with it because
too.
it was
It means that we were just living
just
in
that
that
moment. Exactly.
Yeah. What happened after that, I could not tell you. I was hysterical. There's no other way. Like, I was sobbing, hyperventilating. I made you leave. I literally dragged you out of the stadium so I could get water and actually try and breathe. I just couldn't fathom that I hugged Taylor Swift. Even it's been 7 years and I'm still crying about it.
It was just like,
Oh my goodness.
it was, and because it was nearly the end of the second night, and we had like that first night of craziness, and then like actually got to listen to the music and enjoy the show, and then for it to like end on that note of just like you actually had an interaction with her was just like, ugh, like
Unreal.
perfect. It just like cemented that album as well to be
Yeah.
like, this was also an iconic time. I
Yeah.
mean, all of them were iconic times, but that one
But that
particularly,
was something else.
that was like a surreal moment.
Yeah.
I will say, I think I brushed her arm with the back of my hand.
You haven't washed that hand in
I haven't.
7 years, 9 years?
I just got
I
a
don't know
chunk
how
of
long it's been.
mold
Just
like
yeah.
on one
Yeah.
finger. Ooh.
Yeah.
No, but
I also haven't showered in 7 years, so I feel ya.
she just carries scented candles around
Yeah.
all the time.
I shower. Thank you very much.
Disclaimer.
She was joking.
I
She has
shower.
decent hygiene.
Thank you.
Jeez, I'm sorry. That sounds awful. She smells lovely.
Thank you. I like to hug people, so, you know.
You have
gotta
to smell.
nice.
Yeah.
Mm.
Anyway.
Segue.
Segue. But I want to talk about Speak Now a bit more.
Okay.
Favorite tracks.
Okay.
Easiest way to do it. What are a couple of your
Trying to do a
songs
track list, oh my goodness.
and why? Well, okay.
Mm.
Well, what were your favorite songs?
Back to December.
If you had to choose 3. Back to December.
Yep. Haunted. Long Live.
Great choices.
I can't even remember what else.
I always loved the pop version of Haunted. Or it was like the American
Yeah.
version. That was a deluxe track.
Deluxe editions. Everybody get on it.
Yeah, get on that. Get
My
on that.
least favorite song. From
Maybe
Speak
that'll
Now?
be more interesting to talk about.
Innocent.
You don't like Innocent?
Hated it.
That's a Kanye West song.
Yeah.
Do you remember when that happened?
Yep.
That was in this era, so that counts.
Yeah.
I remember watching that on
was-
MTV.
Devastating.
It was so sad. I remember I was on the computer and it was in the office attached to the internet modem because that's 2009
yes.
or whatever, internet life.
Later. Wait. Like,
2010.
2009?
No, it was 09.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of Red. Yeah, yeah. I
09
know.
happened.
Apologies.
Was
Yep.
the VMAs.
Yep.
But why was Innocent your least favorite song?
Just everything about it I just didn't like. I didn't like the production. I didn't like the lyrics. There was nothing, it didn't connect with me at all. And like I appreciated that she was, reaching out and trying to show her forgiveness, but he didn't deserve it. He was a dick.
It's so funny that that you said like that, because like I distinctly remember how like conflicted like so many people were about like specifically what it was. Like some people thought it was so funny and some people thought it was awful, and I just remember being just like shocked about it. I remember like Kanye West in that time I felt like was a different type of Kanye West than he is now. Like he was in a very different place back then, and so I always saw it as like a smug, like rude sort of thing. And was always like, and so yeah, you're right. Like I was always like screw Kanye, whatever.
Yeah.
Like who the fuck is this?
I think
guy?
that probably stems from us being hardcore Taylor Swift fans.
Yeah.
I'm sure if I
Well, I had
acknowledge Kanye West's existence, I would have a very different perspective on it. But
one of my friends loved Kanye West and hated Taylor Swift, and she was like so happy. She thought it was hilarious that it happened, and it's.
I think in that situation, you just got to strip away the musical part of it, and your fundamental rights as a human being have just been violated. Like
Getting on stage for accepting an award that you're extremely proud of, and then to have someone get up and take the mic off you, to then like say someone else deserved it more than you. Like what a punch to the face. That was
awful.
Like, awful, and especially because it was for You Belong With Me.
Yeah, video of the year.
Yeah. And that it would have been like such a highlight moment in her career.
Yeah.
And it was one of like the first, like she was around this time, like she was beginning to gain more and more popularity.
Yeah.
Like it was insane. And then for that to happen was just like it's just like out of nowhere, like
it's heartbreaking.
Really, that just happened. It's like weird to think like these things that you think would only happen in like a TV show like actually do weirdly happen. Like, that was a hard time.
It was a hard time.
Do you think this kind of not to do with Speak Now, but do you think like the way people see Taylor's different now compared to like how it used to be? Because I remember, maybe it was because we were like in it, but I remember feeling like a lot of it was always like, oh, you like that Taylor Swift person sort of thing. But now I kind of feel it's less like that.
But is that because we're in a different environment now?
True.
We're not surrounded by people who are constantly judging what we're doing,
That's
like
true.
school.
Well, even in that sense of like the high school, like when you're high school teenagers, like you like things a different way. And I remember I currently there's like this like it's like an entertainment forum thing people go on, and they just talk about different things, and a lot of them are really just interested in like streams and numbers and like placement. So it's like a different kind of like obsession thing. Like obviously there are still those people who love certain artists or musicians or Taylor for the music and everything, but like a lot of people take a lot of pride in the numbers aspect of it. And I don't know if that was as big as when we were in it.
No, it was only ever just album sales.
Well, yeah, true, because streaming wasn't a thing.
Wasn't a thing.
You had to like buy them off iTunes.
R.I.P. LimeWire.
or LimeWire, exactly. Or get the album.
Yeah.
But now it's like a completely different. You're right. It's completely different.
Yeah.
I wonder how much of an effect, like, the past, like, change in pop culture, like, has made it all. You know what I mean? Like, because you're right. It's so different having a look back now because we're not in the same place of being like, we're not like teenagers.
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, so I wonder what it would be like being younger and experiencing these like eras like Reputation and Lover like now.
Yeah. I think the Reputation experience would have been so much different for someone who like that was their first album of Taylor's. Yeah. Whereas we've had 5. Yeah. We've had 5 albums. We've had a good, 8 to 10 years of albums and eras to kind of give us that background into Reputation. Whereas I think if people didn't have that and that was their first album for them, it would have been completely different. It would have been a completely different experience for them.
Yeah, true. Because they wouldn't have had that, like, unless they went out and looked for it.
Yep.
They wouldn't have had those, like, waiting to hear, like, the music videos for, like, Story of Us or Back to December or Speak Now.
And instead of, Love Story being your first song on the radio, it's Look What You Made Me Do. And that's a completely different
style. What was your opinion of that? Like, were you shocked when it all came out that sort of way?
Yeah. Yeah, because she's never done it like that before. She's been very predictable in how she's released her albums and promoted her albums. And I think I didn't particularly understand it at the time. And even as we got the full album and then the tour, it didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Now having Lover, it makes sense.
Yeah. In what way do you mean not make sense? Do you mean
just
do you mean as in like the direction she went in or what she was trying to say?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is someone who has written so personally about everything that's happened to her to then completely shut off and not do promotion, wipe her socials.
Very true.
Yeah. And then come completely left of field with a song that is nothing like her entire catalogue. Was very much like, what the heck is going on?
That's very true. I remember it was so nothing. I remember one day she just like had her empty socials.
Yep.
And then suddenly she was just like gearing up and like put out the video, and she started paying a lot of attention to putting more Easter eggs and everything. And like you were saying before, because we had that like previous knowledge, it really helped kind of pull it together.
Yeah.
And like that kind of, I think, made it, well, for me personally, I think the way she did it like that kind of helped keep the momentum of like, oh, this is a Taylor Swift thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know, just because I'm not sure.
I very much think that Reputation was not intended.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Well,
because
I
it like
suppose.
maybe it was. I don't know.
I mean, I suppose when the whole Kim, Kanye, Taylor Swift thing happened, that was pretty much the point where her whole like public perception shifted and became a completely different thing.
Yeah.
And I suppose that was the catalyst for Reputation, because that is what all the music and stories and everything stems from.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what would have happened if that hadn't had happened.
Yeah, would we have gone from 1989 to Lover?
Yeah, maybe. Like, what would that style have been? Because Lover, like you said, with Rep, it was so like left field.
Yep.
But I find with Lover, it kind of, again, sort of feels like an extension of that. But at the same time, it makes me think of her older albums, like Speak Now and Red.
Yeah.
Because with Reputation, it was all really external influences that were impacting her and how she was being perceived by people and stuff like that, and trying to navigate relationships in that time. It wasn't
her perspective.
Yeah,
that we were seeing,
exactly.
which is what we're used to.
It was more of how people saw her, and she was interpreting that to be like, well, this is the person you think I am. Like, let's go with that. So that type of songwriting was very different. It was, like you said, it was really different from what we had seen before. And so Lover kind of goes back to, like, Lover, on Reputation, she didn't have any self-made ones. On 1989, I think This Love might have been the only one that she solely did.
Which she actually wrote for Red. Fun fact.
Did you really?
Deluxe versions of
I love
Lover
that.
will tell you this.
I love that. But yeah, whereas on Lover, there's probably 3 or 4 songs, I think, that she did herself. And so that even in itself is like a completely different process to Reputation, because writing on your own and collaborating on an idea is like, I mean, different.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that makes me think, I wonder if it would have sort of been like 1989 to Lover, or if we would have gotten this like weird in between sort of thing, because she had done the song in between those in between 1989 and Reputation was I Don't Want to Live Forever.
That's right.
Featuring Zayn.
That's right.
And so I remember being like, I bet the next thing she's gonna do is like a beady, like dark poppy sort of thing.
Yeah.
And
you picked it.
Yeah, because just because she's done, like, her promos usually lead into like the next kind of style.
That's very true.
But in saying that, I wonder, did that come out when she started coming back into the public eye, or was it at the time of, because she also had the whole Calvin Harris controversy thing where she
that was a time.
ghost wrote that this is what we came what no
this is what you came this
yeah
is what you came for.
yeah she wrote that, and like that whole drama was coming out as well, so I wonder if I wonder if she would have made an album like Reputation if that hadn't have happened. Yeah. Because if you had taken away the Kim and Kanye stuff, she still had a kind of like controversy littered career in the term of like public opinion and all that.
I mean, coming
stuff.
off the back of Blank Space from 1989, that would have
definitely
she could have gone down that road regardless of the Kim and Kanye situation.
Because even that song was like, that could have even been like a Reputation song, because it was pretty much like, this is the type of girl you think I am with guys all the time. So like now I'm just gonna play into that, and like it's like she became, it always felt like in her earlier albums she was just making what she wanted to make and was like just like writing honestly and truthfully, and then slowly she became more and more aware of, like with Mean on Speak Now, that song's about a critic who is just like bashing her like online just because they just didn't like her, and that sort of introduced that storytelling of like an outside, like how the media and stuff are starting to impact her, and then it just grew and more and more. So I wonder if it could have naturally led to a Reputation sort of album without all like the snake references and everything. Which she is a marketing genius.
Yes.
The way she twisted all of that
she
into
owned
like,
that
self-image.
Completely.
Amazing.
I'm not saying that I regret the Reputation era. It was insane. If you haven't watched it on Netflix, everybody watch it on Netflix, please.
That was a good tour.
That was just one of her best.
Yes.
Yeah.
They've all been good tours.
Yeah.
I would say
Red's down the bottom for me.
Red was probably down the bottom because the arena, it was at Marvel Stadium before it was Marvel. Yeah. And it was just too big. I remember having
way too big.
A not very good seat. It was like okay.
Yeah.
But
I just don't really remember anything from that. Yeah. From that tour, but
well, I think because like how I was kind of talking about like themes and ideas before with Red, that the theme of that, it was always like she was always talking about how it was seeing emotion really intensely, and like how it just becomes like everything's a color and that's how you feel things, but it also felt like the theme for that was that idea along with a sort of like lifestyle aesthetic, because that one was a really like focused aesthetic. Like I was saying with Speak Now, it was kind of all over the place, but it was connected by an underlining theme. Whereas Red still was connected by that underlying theme, but the aesthetic for it was really strong. It was all that vintage, like Polaroids and red lipstick and everything. And so I think because of the way it was like, wasn't as much about an overall specific thing you can really explore. It was more just about like that mood. That kind of like makes it harder to develop into an overarching production. Does that make sense? I don't know.
That makes sense.
Because with Speak Now, all the songs are so individual and has such a theme. And if you wanted to do such a big production, you could, because it's like, well, we can do, like, can be all like a fantasy sort of thing and be like a story. Like, that's essentially how she did it. But with Red, it was, because it was that aesthetic, it was just like, and even then, it kind of, the Red album itself felt, I remember listening to it and being like, this feels more stripped back than Speak Now. Because with Speak Now, you had the variety of songs and they would have orchestras or like really specific like things for those songs. Whereas Red, it just kind of became more about that pop, country pop, like just the band. And that's what then sticks out to me a lot in regards to the tour, was that it wasn't such a big like show. Like Reputation was such a big era and idea, and like, because so many, at this point she's like a huge superstar and everyone was looking, and the tour was so fun because that is such a dynamic like kind of the way she went about it was again really theatrical. So it was able to be like really like
Yeah.
and I don't know.
Yeah. You know, I
I
agree.
had a lot better seats for Reputation as well.
Yes, you did.
I went a bit crazy.
Yes,
with my
you did.
ex-partner,
Never try
but
and buy seats with Sebastian.
I remember
You go for the B section and he goes for the A plus section.
yeah, I remember when this isn't Taylor Swift, but she loves Lana, so I'm going to mention Lana.
Fair enough.
I was trying to get tickets for Lana's show that was she came here for at the start of last year, and I really wanted a really good seat, and I just don't know what came over me. I was like the most stressed, anxious person waiting for ticket sales. That I got this amazing... Well, they weren't amazing, but for the venue, they were really good.
Yeah.
And then I was like, no, I can get better. And refreshed, even though I'm an idiot, and got
You
like...
let them
It went
go.
to the back. They were gone. And I was like, why did I do that? I just ruined that.
Mistake.
Because I was so stressed to get a good spot.
Pre-sales are a different ball game.
It's all stressful to me.
So stressful.
It's all awful. And they can go out so quickly.
Yeah.
The amount of times I would wait, I would either be texting mum to be like, can you please check these? I'm at school, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Or just like watching the clock to wait for it and then hoping your page is like included in the
Yep.
queue of people and you get there quickly and oh my gosh, it's too much.
Too much.
But yeah, so going back to the main point, that's why Red wasn't that. The
Yeah.
Red tour wasn't one of the best.
Yeah.
But
We're not saying the album.
No.
Read the album.
no.
Different ball game.
We can go to Red right now because we're talking about it.
Yep.
Red is a beautiful album.
Beautiful.
I don't even know like
We're still bitter that she didn't win Grammy
for
for album of the year.
although
We can't talk about it.
that video of because the album that won, I can't remember what it was.
Random Access Memories.
Oh,
Daft Punk.
yes, because they go
Red
red and it's the video of her and
she's
her
like-
whole team like gasped, yeah. And then they didn't even get it. Damn.
Devastated.
But she powered on clapping.
She
Except
did.
that one time, it was when she was at the Oscars, I'm pretty sure, and she was nominated for original song for soundtrack for Safe and Sound.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure Adele won
Yep.
for her James Bond song.
Yep. That sounds right.
Yep. And I remember they like cut to Taylor in the audience and she was listening to Adele's speech and she just gives this like smirk where she's like smiling but she's like, oh, I hate you.
Yeah.
Because you're up there.
We all hate Adele. It's
It's
okay.
iconic, yeah. Well,
We're
Safe and
jealous.
Sound was... that was... What's it called? What's it called when it was just like wrongfully taken away? It was like ignored. I can't remember the word.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Anyway, we'll add that in later.
Yep.
Add that in post.
Yeah. So Red.
Red.
What were your first impressions of Red?
Loved it.
After Speak Now happened, were you kind of thinking it was going to go in that direction? Or...
No.
Because she even like experimented with dubstep on I Knew You Were Trouble.
Yeah. So the first single we got from Red was We Are Never Ever Ever Ever
Yes.
Getting Back Together.
And I remember when that came out, like we've said, like her first singles have always kind of been polarizing because they don't necessarily reflect the whole album.
Yep.
But she always just does it to just be like, things are different right now.
Yeah.
Like things are
So I think
changing.
that was the first single, and then the second single was I Knew You Were Trouble.
And that was, she had her music video director for that was the guy who did We Found Love by Rihanna and Lana's Ride music video, I
There
think.
you go.
Because they all have monologues
Yep.
and they're all like 9 minutes long,
Amazing.
which
We
is
know
fine
Taylor
because
Swift
I
loves
love all
monologue.
this. Yes, exactly. She loves monologue. And
Amazing.
I'm always down for a monologue.
100%.
But Red has some iconic songs on it. Like All Too Well.
All too well. Taylor Swift, if you're somehow listening to this, we would like the 10-minute version, please, and thank you.
Yes, fun fact, there is a 10-minute version of that song. And it's also about Jake Gyllenhaal, and which quite a bit of Red is about, actually. I love him. And so I love that they loved each other.
Yeah.
But I'm sad that it broke up. Because that All Too Well song is amazing.
Amazing.
It is probably
Everything about it is.
It's probably one of the best examples of a song to give to someone to like be like, this is a Taylor Swift song, because the storytelling is probably one of her best.
Yep.
And that's coming from me who loves her Fearless album.
That's a lot coming from you.
Yeah, but that song is a beautiful song.
Yeah.
And she performed at the Grammys
Yes, she did.
when she was like headbanging at
Yep.
the piano. That was an iconic moment
performance.
as well. Just all these like gifts I wish I had just
Yep.
stored somewhere of
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
being a weirdo.
Her being
The
Taylor
best
Swift.
kind of weirdo.
Yeah. What are your favorites from Red? Quick,
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Rapid fire. Top 3.
I actually loved Starlight.
Yeah, cute.
That song was one of those songs I was listening to, and I was listening to
Shout out to the Kennedys.
chorus. Oh, yes. Yeah,
That one
she
random
wrote it.
relationship she had.
For a song.
Yeah, that was so
What
strange.
was his name? Patrick.
Patrick.
Yeah.
I
Was it the
always-
Kennedys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I shouldn't
I
know
remember
that.
people always saying like, "Oh, she's with the president," like, she's in the family now or something like that.
Yeah.
Obviously
I
not the
didn't last
president.
long.
but you know what I mean. Yeah. But that song came from it, and it's a very beautiful song. She
Yes,
wrote
it
it for
is.
his grandparents.
Very cute.
So cute. But that was one of the songs where I was listening to it, and for the bridge, I was like, it needs to go like this.
Yeah.
And be like, ooh, like how she. I'm not gonna do it.
We're not
even
gonna
gonna try.
We're not gonna sing.
The way she does it, I'm
Yeah.
embarrassed that I just did that. But the way it grew, and then like it was just perfect.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm so here for this song.
Mm-hmm.
Begin Again is like a really
Yes.
beautiful song and makes me really
An
hopeful.
excellent ending to an album.
So
A
excellent.
beautiful music video.
Oh, in Paris, and she's just on
Everything
a
about
rooftop.
it was unreal.
It's such a beautiful song.
She never played that past the Red tour, hey?
No,
Oh,
I actually don't think so.
sadness.
That is sad.
It's a beautiful song.
I'm also like props to her for the set list she does at her tours, because she
Mm.
finds a perfect way to do as many songs as she can,
Mm-hmm.
as well as including enough not strange, but like songs you wouldn't normally think you would pick,
Yeah.
that it works
Yeah.
and makes it exciting. Especially when she adds in that she's going to do like random songs for each
Yeah.
one.
That's awesome.
Like I remember
Everyone should do that.
one time she was doing covers,
Mm.
or she was doing covers
Yeah, that was
and just
the
random performances.
Speak Now tour.
Was it? Was that
Yep.
Speak Now too?
Yep.
Because she did.
Speak Now
Was
live
it
album.
for the?
reference.
Oh, that's a good one. You're
Drops
right.
of Jupiter.
Drops of Jupiter.
Betty Davis Eyes.
Oh, Betty Davis Eyes.
Ugh,
I love.
it's a feeling.
Oh my gosh, I forgot.
Welcome back.
That I have been listening to the
I love
original
it.
version of that song,
Ooh.
because it's like I've been really into my like 80s, like late 70s
Fun.
jams.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's from the late 80s or late 70s or 80s.
Yeah.
I think it might be.
Roundabout.
Anyways, it's an amazing song. Now I have to listen to that version,
Mhm.
because I also loved that version.
Mhm. The Speak Now tour is available on Apple Music. Feel free to watch it. When you get to the instrumental of You Belong With Me, think of me. No!
Speak
Speak
now.
now. Mistake.
I'm embarrassed because we've been talking about this so much.
Just picture me crying.
Beautiful.
You didn't get to your third from
No, I didn't.
Red.
Well, I was
haven't
thinking.
forgotten.
I was thinking.
You did say Stay,
I-
Stay, Stay was one of your favourites.
No, I didn't.
Apologies.
So I do
Rude.
really like that song because it's super cute.
It's very fun.
I meant that was a song that whenever I hear it, I was like, "That's like it's." You can tell that's a.
Oh, yeah,
Taylor Swift
That's
song.
right.
Yeah.
But I do love. I love Starlight, Begin Again. I want to say All Too Well,
Mm.
but I know that that's just a given,
Mm.
and I'm pretty sure there's other songs on it that
Mm.
I love, but I can't think of them right now. And I'm sad about it.
State of Grace.
That is an amazing album opener.
Yes. The
She's-
beat of that is unreal.
And she did a piano version of it as well on the deluxe edition.
Deluxe. We keep going on
See?
about this deluxe edition.
But they're so good.
They're
There's so many
so
like, little
good.
nuggets, and even the
Uh-huh.
red deluxe tracks, like,
Come Back Be Here.
oh, the moment I knew. That is the moment I knew is one of.
It's a tearjerker.
That's such a tearjerker, and when she's singing, you can just see it in your head perfectly.
Yeah.
I remember I remember going back to Speak Now Deluxe. I keep getting these deluxe mixed, but
There's so many of them.
oh no, what am I talking about? You literally just said it. Come Back, Be Here.
Yeah.
On the red one.
Yeah.
I remember I was in Malaysia.
Oof.
And it was on the radio. It played on the radio.
Amazing.
I was in the taxi and it was just playing and I was like, I know this song. This is Taylor Swift. Why is this playing?
Is it on
This
the radio?
It was like not a single.
Oh.
And I will admit, every time I heard that song, I always thought she was saying the name Eli at the start of every chorus. She was saying, come back, come back, come back. Oh no, wait. This was a movie. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
I am
goodness.
insane. So if this was a movie,
Yes,
at the
Speak
start
Now
of the
Deluxe.
chorus on the Speak Now Deluxe,
Mhm.
she always would say, come back, come back, come back to me, like. She would say like me, like.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I would always hear it, come back, come back, come back to me, Eli.
Yeah. Come on, Eli.
This was a movie.
Get
And
your
I was
shit
like,
together.
who is Eli? Who is this
How
guy?
dare you have a secret
Yeah,
boyfriend, Taylor
has
Swift?
no one ever heard of this Eli person? I feel like that would be something we knew. But then in the taxi, I like actually listened to it and was like, oh, she's not saying Eli.
No.
I am
No,
an
she's
idiot.
not.
I love
We
that
know
song.
way too much about Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
So much. Not sorry.
She's a good role model.
She's excellent.
She gives...
We could be worse.
She's paid off people's student loans and
I know, what a
stuff like
legend.
that.
What a legend.
And the whole thing with the sexual harassment lawsuit
Yes.
and the way that she followed through on
Yes.
that like a boss.
Yes.
And it wasn't for the money.
Nope.
She got a
$1.
Sacagawea coin.
I know.
And she gave it to her manager
Yeah.
or her lawyer?
lawyer?
Lawyer.
Hmm.
That would make more sense.
We know too much about Taylor Swift.
But also amazing.
And now her work on the Equality Act in the
Oh,
States.
even better.
We stand a legend.
I remember for so long, people were always really frustrated with her for not sharing her political opinion or her stance and talking about all these different things. And I always thought it was like a damned if you do, damned if you don't sort of situation.
Yeah.
Because no matter what she would... Because even now, like, because I remember, I think she did an interview lately, and she said one of the reasons why she never wanted to talk about it because she knew people would use that ammo of being like, oh, you're just a famous person, like you shouldn't be telling people what to think, la-di-da.
Yeah.
But now she's realized that being able to like have that voice and put out the things she wants to say out there
It's a
can
privilege.
have like, yeah, exactly. It's a privilege to have that platform. And so it's like she's realized that regardless of what she's going to do, people are either going to be mad about it or not. Like people are mad at her trying to have a voice now.
Yep.
Still.
Yep.
And it's like, well, you were complaining that she wasn't saying anything in the first place. And it's like, I can't even imagine what that pressure would kind of be like to be expected of like too many different things and having all these like such publicly like brutal things being like spoken
Yeah.
about you
Yeah.
just because.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's really curious. It's such a, but that's a cultural thing, I suppose.
Yeah.
Like that's happens. That's a celebrity thing, which is like unfortunate, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's also really interesting and complicated when the stuff gets wrapped up in the American politics, like with the
Yeah.
Equality Act and
Yeah.
the way it kind of, the way, as an outsider looking in, people are very easily like pushed to one side or the other. And so you got the people who've been like, well, she's a like, not even specifically her, but be like, why would a celebrity want to be, you know, like, go back to making movies and stuff.
Yeah.
But then you've got the same mentality of people who vote in, like, Donald Trump, who was also a reality star sort of thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So it's just interesting looking at it all to be like, people sort of like choose who they want to get mad at, or
Yeah.
even like cancel culture, like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's very, everyone has a very narrow view.
Yes.
I mean, and I'm not immune to that. I wouldn't, not lying, putting that out there, being honest, but
Yep.
like, that's just what happens, I
Yeah.
suppose. But I am glad that she's like actually talking
Yeah.
about and trying to make an influence
Yeah.
and stuff now.
I feel like it's more words. She's making more of a positive change than she is negative. There's always going to be someone that's going to sit there and say, no, you shouldn't say these things, or let's cancel Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
But with the reach that she has, the power for positive change is higher than it is for negative. And I think when you're in that position, you got to take it.
Yeah, very true. Especially in times like this where the world is so much more connected. Like, like I think in the podcast I've already recorded, I always at some point will mention social media.
Yep.
But I just think it's really interesting in the way it's impacted our world. I'm pretty sure we've had conversations about this plenty of times. But it also makes me think in terms of with all like music and the fandoms and how interconnected the world is now, like it's probably the best time for her to be doing it because it is such a widespreading platform and there's so many different people that can be reached. Like you said, it's all about the different demographics and trying to just like instill new way, not even new thoughts, but just like maybe even a new perspective.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I'm ending a lot of my sentences with, does that make sense? Because half the time I don't know if it does make sense.
Fine. It makes sense. Makes sense to me.
Good, yay. That's all that matters.
Yay.
We kind of did jump around a bit, but we were just talking about Red before.
We did.
Where would you say, compared with, okay, so I let you do a ranking for Fearless. If you had to go, where would Speak Now and Red place in regards to Fearless? Would they both be above or?
That's a good question.
Because when we did hear these songs, it was probably 20, I'm going to say
14?
For
Would
Red.
have been Red?
No, that was 1989. It was
Oh,
2014.
confused.
Because I was in Paris
Didn't
when
he?
Out of the Woods came out.
All right, mate.
Sorry, humble brag.
Whatever.
That was iconic though.
I think I'm getting confused because we saw the Speak Now tour in 2012. But Australia is always the last stop on the tour.
Red, I remember
Red must have been the end of that year.
it was because I remember I Knew You Were Trouble. I remember being in school and it was year 12.
Yeah.
Because I remember being like, that song's so relatable. Boys suck.
Boys are the worst.
Boys are the worst.
Yeah.
I knew you were trouble. But sorry. But no, so that was, but I remember that being in 2012. So I think maybe it was like end 2012, 2013.
2013, yeah, that sounds right actually. And then 1989 would have been released in 2014, toured in 2015,
Yes.
and then nothing until 2017.
Yeah.
They were dark times.
They were.
Yeah, we're on our 2-year cycle again.
Yeah.
Got it. Yep,
So we were saying anyways. But
sorry, you want me to rank them?
I was thinking how they were different ranking because Fearless and Speak Now were when we were in high school.
Yes.
And so that was all like those eras were kind of wrapped around that like going to school every day and being able to talk about it la-di-da. Whereas with Red and stuff, like it's a completely different scenario because it's not the same setting.
Yeah.
We're in the real world sort of thing. Did that album feel like it had a different rollout for you? Oh wait. No, yeah. I'll let you answer that.
Okay.
So, did Red feel like it had a different rollout for you compared to the other two?
I don't particularly remember. I remember Red getting leaked, and you did not stop texting me about it.
No, I listened to it as well.
You are the worst.
Straight away.
Worst
I was
human
so excited.
ever. And I think my determination not to do that stemmed from my love for the Speak Now tour, and I was like, no, everything has to be perfect. I'm going to listen to it on release day. I went and bought it with you actually, and you know what? It was my last like $22 that I had.
Really?
Casual wage, like casual hours. Just had no money, and I specifically saved $22.
I love that.
So I could go and buy the deluxe edition of Red.
I love that.
Yeah,
because we listened to that.
Yep.
On Oliver's
Top of
Hill.
Oliver's Hill.
Amazing.
Yep.
So good.
I love our memories.
Me too. I love it. There's actually so many when
This
you
is
think
the
about
best.
it. But
Where
yeah,
would I
so
rank
rank it.
it? In between Fearless and Speak Now.
So Speak Now's at the top. Red, Fearless.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I always... Because I do really like Red as an album.
Yeah.
I'll agree though the rollout did feel different.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like... yeah, we could still text each other and stuff. But it wasn't like that in-person
Yeah.
fangirling over
Yeah.
like Taylor
Yeah.
Swift.
That's the only way to describe it. That's all it
That
was.
is literally the only way to describe it. Like cover art, I remember being so
Yeah.
excited whenever new cover art would come out.
Yeah.
The track
Videos.
lists, the new videos, that was always so exciting.
Yeah.
Even when she like dabbled in acting for a little bit, like that was a little bit of fun. Valentine's Day. Remember that?
Valentine's Day.
That was great. Oh, she was also
Where
in.
was The Giver? She was in The Giver.
Was she in The Giver?
Yeah. Don't go see it. It's
I've seen it.
terrible. Ugh.
I can't remember where
She plays the old man's daughter.
Oh,
She
maybe
the
I
ghost?
do remember.
No, I hated The Giver.
She was.
I hated the ending of The Giver. He walked over the hill into the town, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Anyway,
I remember
have
having to
feelings about
read
that
The
book.
Giver in
Yep,
year
9.
Wow.
Never again. You can
Well,
literally
that was a
not pay
fun
me.
little thing she got to do. She was in.
Yeah.
No, it was Valentine's Day. For some reason, I
Yeah,
think.
Valentine's Day. The Giver. What else? I feel like
Oh,
that's it.
the Lorax. That was great as well.
All that promo with Zac Efron, man.
Oh.
I mean, that was a good time.
a good time.
It was a good time for everybody
Yeah.
involved.
But no, I did really like Red.
Yep.
But yeah, like I said, the rollout felt kind of different. But, like I keep saying, but it all felt like a natural progression, like
Yep.
a really interesting path for her.
Yep.
And I was so down for the way she was writing and, even just like the different way the music was being made, like the way she was looking into different genres, but it
Yeah.
also felt like it was stripped backwards. Like I remember feeling really conflicted of being like, this does feel like less like over the top than Speak Now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she was making like musical choices that were quite different
Yeah.
from what she had done before. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I think it was like a good mix. It was all, I really liked it all.
Yeah.
And
It's very much a, like, I think that was the defining moment where she switched from country to pop.
yeah.
And kind of, you can tell she took a stand, and that's that the result of 1989 came purely out of what she wanted to do after Red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with Speak Now, she was slowly becoming, even people would even say with Fearless, she was becoming less country. But I would say with Speak Now, like, she had a couple songs she had like banjos and, like I said, like the orchestra and stuff.
Yeah.
But then, with Red, there wasn't as much of that.
No.
And it kind of went back to like, it was just a band, like a pop band, not a country group,
Yeah.
whatever. But, it just didn't feel forced. And then leading into 1989, it was just like, she was like, yep, this is where I'm going. This is the genre now. I'm just going to have fun with it and let go of like all these ideas people had.
Yeah.
I remember when 1989 was coming out, and I was again impressed with her writing.
Yeah.
Especially on some songs like Clean.
Clean.
That was written with the help of Imogen Heap,
Yep.
who did that incredible song about really sad stuff. What's it called? Oh my gosh, this is going to bug me now, because that is an amazing song. It's like, where are we?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
the hell
Yep.
is
Yep.
going
Yep.
on?
Yep.
I have to
Can't
tell.
tell you.
Hide and Seek.
Sure. Yeah, no, that sounds right, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you
That's
sing it again?
No.
Leave that in.
I think I will because that was fun. That was a fun song.
Yes.
That was a beautiful
Clean
song.
was unreal. Again, if you have no idea what we're talking about, the 1989 tour is also available on Apple Music.
Amazing.
Please look for the Clean monologue.
Is that
And
the
also-
recorded? Was it videoed, that one as well, or was
Yeah.
it just the album? It was video.
There's video.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
I remember that tour was at a completely different stadium.
Amy Park.
Amy Park, yeah. And
Very random.
very random. I liked it because it didn't seem too big, but at the same time it was all outside.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cold.
Yeah.
But it was still a good time.
Uh-huh.
It was a really
We
good-
went to that tour together.
We did.
We should note that we haven't been to all tours together.
Yes.
We went to...
We might have been at the same ones.
Yes, but we went together.
Yeah.
We didn't go to Fearless together.
No.
Speak Now we did.
Yep.
Red we didn't.
1989 we did.
1989 we did.
Rep we didn't.
Rep we didn't.
Lover we
Lover
will.
we have to.
Lover we're gonna get some wedding dresses and
100%.
stand in the mosh. We'll get there that time. Hopefully it won't be as expensive.
Rumor has it that she wants to do a more intimate show.
I saw
If she
that.
goes back to Rod Laver and does like 13 shows like Pink does, how many are we going to go to? How
13.
many places can we
The
visit?
lucky number is 13.
Surely.
And
It's
I
a
mean,
given.
I've been thinking about it. If we were in wedding dresses,
Mm.
they would
Surely
have
we
to
would
choose
get
us.
into the, what would she call it? The lover room.
Yeah, Lover's Lounge.
Nice!
There we go.
You should coin that.
Call me Taylor. I'll help you.
We will design all
We
of
will
it.
design it all.
Lover Lounge. Yeah, that's what
I'm
it's going to
down
be.
with
I'm
that.
glad we've got that on record.
Yeah, me too. Timestamp.
Yeah.
Oh wait, date stamp.
Date stamp.
That's the 30th of August, 2019.
Amazing.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Taylor Swift.
But yes, the 1989 that tour. I liked it more than Red.
Yep. It's not
I
one of my
don't
favorites,
remember
though.
it as much though. Yeah,
No.
I honestly don't. I remember her doing all the songs amazingly as
Yeah.
always, and she had a good set list.
Yep.
But I don't remember anything that was really like striking about it. Like with Speak Now, I don't think that she could top that
Nah.
because that was just
The production
That
of
was
that was
just-
unreal.
yeah.
Although Rep's up there. The Rep tour.
was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Literally. 1989.
Yes.
What did you think of that album?
Excellent.
What was your thoughts compared to the rest of her discography, like the stuff she'd done before?
I really liked it.
Yeah.
I think she needed to do that
It was just a fun
change.
record.
It just made sense for her to go in that direction. I loved it. Yeah. No, I have no complaints.
No, I remember.
I don't think.
Well, like I kind of, you don't think. Like I said before, I remember I was so. It was just like the perfect moment. I have to like talk about it.
Please.
I was walking around. I remember I woke up. I had been in Paris. I was in Paris, and I had woken up that morning, and I found out that Out of the Woods had come out.
Oh man.
And so I put it on my phone and caught a train to the Eiffel Tower, and just walked around and listened to Out of the Woods, and it was amazing.
Excellent.
That was a good single choice.
Yep.
The first one for 1989 was
Shake
Shake
It
It
Off.
Off. That was actually probably one of my favorite.
Yeah.
It was just a bop.
Yeah. Such a bob.
Such a bop. And it was kind of also like leaning even more and more so into that storytelling angle of like the outsiders and all the judgment and
Yeah.
reputation, these sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Because then you got like Blank Space,
Blank Space.
Style.
Yes. Oh, I love
That's an amazing song.
That is my
That
favourite.
Harry Styles.
Yeah.
So many incredible songs.
So
Oh
many.
my goodness.
Hold on, sorry. Before you talk, because we're having a look at this, the deluxe tracks of this album.
Yes.
Iconic.
Yes.
Wonderland.
Yes.
You Are in Love.
Yes.
New Romantics.
Yes.
If you haven't heard them, go listen to them straight away.
To give you an idea of how incredible these deluxe version songs are, she played You Were in Love on tour for 1989.
That's
Yep.
song.
Watch it, please. And if you needed anything else to convince you that this song is amazing, her video clip for Lover, recently released, was tied in with lyrics from You Were in Love.
Amazing.
Her mind,
Her
man.
mind was
Her
like-
mind.
But You Are in Love is one of the most beautiful songs
Yeah.
that she's ever. I mean, I've been saying this about so many of her songs.
I know.
but
We can't
there's-
pick.
There's literally a subgenre of Taylor Swift songs
Mm-hmm.
that are like heartbreakingly or just like all-consuming, like well-written songs.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
You Are in Love.
Yep.
Clean.
Yep.
All Too Well.
Yep.
Even kind of
New Year's
Dear
Day.
John. New Year's Day. Dear John would always get me.
Dear John. The
Oh, no,
production of that on
sorry.
Speak Now was unreal.
Last Kiss. Amazing song.
Amazing.
I remember being so depressed listening to that song. even though
I
had
missed
never
the boyfriend
kissed
I've
anyone.
never had.
Exactly. That's when you know a song is powerful.
Yeah.
When it makes you feel sad about something that's never even
Never
happened. But anyways, 1989 tracks.
Yes.
What are your faves? Top 3.
Out of the Woods.
Yes.
100%.
To a version of that song. She adds in a different bridge version.
Incredible.
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 She,
Watch it on Apple Music.
because for some songs she doesn't do a bridge.
No.
And she is a killer bridge writer.
Killer.
Always appreciate her bridges. And so it kind of makes me sad when she doesn't include them, but when she does them, they're so good
Yep.
that it kind of like makes it all okay.
It's got to be Style. Style's one of my favorite songs ever. It's just a good like strutting song. You
Yeah.
can really strut to this song. And I Know Places.
Yeah, that's a really good song too.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably have to go with Clean.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Clean.
I listened to that song
Fair enough.
shamelessly
Yeah,
thousands
fair
of
enough.
times.
That's an excellent song. I should have picked that.
New Romantics is so good.
Should have been a single.
It should have been a single.
Side note on the deluxe songs in this album, all should have been in the standard version.
Yeah, she should have just put them all
Just
in
straight
one.
up.
That's always what I think whenever I hear deluxe songs. I'm
Yeah,
always like,
true.
they should have just added them on to the standard.
Yep.
But sometimes it doesn't really work. Like sometimes some deluxe songs, and for other artists, like might not specifically be Taylor, but they just don't really fit in with the album.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, oh, I don't know about that. But
Yeah.
when they're added on and they just feel like, oh, it's just like a little extension, then that's when I'm down in there for them.
Yep.
Just a casual shout out to Bad Blood.
Yep. Iconic music video.
Iconic music video.
Excellent
I
remix.
Will say, I was so let down that in my mind, I was like, it's gonna be like a 10-minute video. If you know where they do them and they have the song and it's like really story, because she had so
Yeah.
many cameos.
Yes,
I
so
was just
many.
waiting for like
It's like probably
a
our most
quick
expensive
like
music
battle
video.
or something. Yeah, exactly. So I was expecting it just to have like maybe a little battle at the end of like just a random scene. Kind of like the start where she's fighting Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
But it just ended up with them walking slow motion in front of explosions.
Boring.
With I'm sorry to say, I thought the wig she was wearing was
Terrible.
ugly. This orange. thing.
Terrible. Her worst.
But the video is very good.
Very good.
The remix with Kendrick Lamar
My
is
fave.
quite amazing as well.
Yeah.
But I was
I love that they
always-
sing that on tour.
Yeah.
Like the crowd sings
It's true.
on the rep tour. It's not
Do they
real.
really?
Yeah.
I love that.
You haven't watched it enough times to notice.
No,
You
I
gotta get on
haven't.
that.
I haven't. But I should. Maybe I'll do that later. But with, I was always disappointed because they didn't. In one of the versions, I think, in the Kendrick Lamar one, they replaced her bridge, or a part of her second verse with him, and they don't include it. And I was always really disappointed because I, like I said, love her
Love a
bridges.
bridge.
And I really liked his part as well. I thought he was great. But I don't think they had one that was officially, like, technically both the songs. And I mean, that happens sometimes. Like, on Teenage Dream, like Katy Perry's album, she had a song with Kanye, the E.T. song.
Yeah.
And there was the original version originally didn't have Kanye West, but they added it in, and for the music video they added both of their parts, including her bridge. But when they re-released it, they didn't include her bridge. It was just his, and I thought it took away from the song. So that's why I'm always a bit unsure about features.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Taylor actually doesn't generally do that many features.
No, she's only had 4.
She had, yeah, I think so. Well,
Colby Calais?
on her albums, she
Yeah.
doesn't really have them. She
does.
not as many. I mean, like more her promo songs or like her individual. She has like, because on this one she hasn't got any single. On 1989 she hasn't got one.
No.
On Red she had
Ed Sheeran.
Everything Has Changed.
Yeah.
And The Last Time. I
Oh
forgot that
yeah,
song.
The Last
That's an amazing
Time.
song.
That's a beautiful song.
With Fearless she had Breathe with Colby Collate.
Mm-hmm.
But that was sort of in the vein of the Soon You'll Get Better by the Dixie Chicks, who are beautiful, and I can't believe that
Did your
they
mum
did
cry
something-
about it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
'Cause
Excellent. That's the only appropriate response.
A little backstory. So I went to a primary school about a half an hour drive away, and Mum would drop us off there at the bottom of the hill to catch a bus on the way to school every morning on her way to work. And so whenever my sisters started going to high school, and it would just be me and Mum in the car for like half an hour, and so we would like religiously listen to the Dixie Chicks.
That's so cute.
Yeah, we would always listen to so much different music, but it was pretty much always the Dixie Chicks. And they were just always really special. Even one time we won a radio contest to win concert tickets to go see. We had to like give them an experience. And Mum was like, every day my son and I drive home and we sing along to the Dixie Chicks. And so we won and we got to go.
Oh my god, that's so
that was
cute.
my first proper concert. Was a Dixie
Love you,
Chicks
Susie.
concert. I love Susie, my mama.
She's the best.
But and so finding out that on Lover there was going to be a Dixie Chicks collab, I was like, oh my god, Taylor Swift is like, she's speaking directly to me.
Yep.
I mean, there's no other excuse.
No.
But in
It's
what
a
I
fairly
was,
logical explanation.
why else would she have done it? But going back to what I was saying, their feature is sort of in the same vein as the Colby Collate one, where it's
Yes.
mainly just like
Like
harmonies,
harmonies,
and like
yeah.
backup vocals,
Yep.
as opposed to her Ed Sheeran collaborations
Yes.
and stuff,
Yep.
where it's more of like half
Yep.
song. She's pretty generous with her features. Other than the backup vocal ones.
Other than,
But
yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's that. She doesn't usually do them that often.
No. Wish we had more.
I'm honestly not too fast.
She did Both of Us. That was a good one.
That the B.O.B. song.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
That's a good one.
From the music videos of 1989, did you have a favorite?
What did we have?
We had the Bad Blood one.
I didn't like the Bad Blood one. I was expecting more and I didn't get it.
Style.
That
was the weird
not
one.
Not bad. Yeah.
I think Blank Space might have honestly been
Yeah, that's up there.
one of the.
Out of the Woods?
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's
There's a
like running
video.
through the woods.
Yeah.
And she, because
That's
she
all I
ends
really
up like
remember about it.
yeah.
And she ends up at the beach.
Well, all I remember from that is that
It's in the.
it was like a
Look
link
What
from
You
the
Made Me
Look
Do
What You
video.
Made Me Do, when she's in like the blue dress.
Yeah,
but she's
in
a
the graveyard.
corpse.
Yeah. No, I'm pretty sure
all I
that's
can
it.
think of. Yeah, that was that is a good video.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll say that one's better, even though I can't remember it as much.
Yeah. I think that was. I mean, the Shake It Off video is iconic. Yeah. No. None of
For
that.
some reason,
What?
I haven't got Shake It Off
Oh.
on there on my album. Oh my gosh, I've been missing out.
It's over. It.
Yeah, that's okay.
We've overplayed
Lover just came out, so
Yeah,
it's fine.
that's fine. You're not listening to it anyway.
We might jump forward to Reputation next then.
Yes.
We've kind of talked about it a little bit.
We have.
Than before, but what I thought it was really interesting with this one, how the first half was the dark Reputation part, but the second half I felt like she had merged that like sound of that the rough beats and stuff
Yeah.
with sort of her old style way of storytelling.
Yep.
Because there were like songs like Getaway Car
Yep.
and King of My
King of My
Heart.
Heart. Yep.
They seem like older Taylor Swift. They like songs she could have done before, but the musical sound is just different.
Yep.
I still like it though. I think it really works. I think it was like I think it was a smart way for her to be like, here's just like the response to like what's been
This
happening.
is what you want.
Yeah, but
Let me give you what I want to do now.
Yeah, exactly. I'm
Yeah.
not just gonna give you the whole album of like what you think of me. Like, I still want to be able to like tell my stories that are happening like right now.
Yeah.
And some of the songs are amazing.
Mm.
Like, I remember just not being sure of like the whole direction of the album was gonna go.
Yeah.
I remember after the Look What You Made Me Do music video came out, she was really starting to pay so much more attention to putting in like Easter eggs and like cameos or like references to old stuff. And I just remember like, and because the first single of her albums are notoriously so different to the rest of the album.
Yeah.
It was like, what is there to even expect from it all?
Yeah.
Do you remember, like, were you excited or kind of worried about how it would end up? Because I think one of the things, it was such like, yes, she had already embraced pop and like had entered that fully, but it now felt like it was just like a whole nother leap forward away, not even away from the pop, but just like
Above.
yeah, or just like, and just completely different to anything that she's done before. Like, she's always been the dark. She's always been like the happy love fairy tale-y sort of things, and now Reputation's this dark complete thing.
Yeah.
What were your expectations?
I was excited.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think because Look What You Made Me Do was so different and we had that video, it kind of showed us that there was this different side of her musical capabilities, and to be able to get a whole album added to her, to see that, it was awesome. It was awesome. I remember listening it to you. We got the album together again.
Yeah.
And did we go to Oliver's Hill again?
I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah. And I remember listening through the whole album, and it got to, what's that, track 14? Call It What You Want, and to Call It What You Want. And I said, if I don't get a ballad on this album, I'm going to cry. And then New Year's Day started playing, and I cried.
And that was exactly what
we
needed.
Yeah, and it was the perfect ending to this album that had gone through so much, and she'd shown so many different aspects to so many things, her storytelling, her vocal ability, all these things. It was just the best ending. It's one of my favorite albums for sure.
Yeah, Reputation.
Yeah.
Would you say we forgot to rank 1989 and
Oh my goodness.
Rep. So we'll quickly just rank those two.
Actually, I think I would go from the bottom: Fearless, Red, 1989, Speak Now, Rep, Lover.
Lover
Because Lover is just on repeat for a
It's
week.
completely fresh.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think it might be because I have more of an understanding of what she's doing, how she's doing it. It relates differently to me now than it did, when 14-year-old us were listening to Fearless. Like, I think it's a lot different to what we...
And it's easier because we're older to have our actual own experiences to relate the songs to, as opposed to, just dreaming about being in that position of like being in that place.
Yeah.
Where
would you rank it?
Looking at the full track list, like at a glance, it makes me remember how actually amazing all the songs were, and how
there's not one bad song in there.
No. Reputation, like, it always seemed like she always considered all the details of the album with the track list and the themes and the aesthetic and all the things we've talked about.
Yeah.
And with Reputation, it felt like sort of like, I don't know if this is the right word, but the amalgamation, like, of all of that just into one thing. Like, I don't know, I feel like that's just the best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt like everything was so well planned and organized and thought out, and it's like she really considered every bit of the album.
Yeah.
Before it got put out.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to have that really like clean message of what she wanted to say.
Yeah.
Which is actually more complicated than like this is just my reputation. Like,
Yeah.
she's talking about a lot of different issues with the way like relationships and how you explore relationships can be impacted by like the past and even outside influences that aren't your own, and just I don't know. It's just
It felt like her most cohesive album
yeah,
since Speak Now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's the best way I
Exactly.
can
That's,
put it.
yeah. She just went in on it.
Yeah.
And there's so many, like, it's so easy to get lost on the first half of the record by being
Very
like,
much
it's
so.
all just like reputation, like blah blah blah, like
Yeah,
mad
yeah.
at the world sort of thing. But the later half, where she goes into the songs that sort of look like other album songs, like Dancing with Our Hands Tied,
Yeah.
and Dress, and Gorgeous, even Getaway Car, like they're amazing songs.
And I think now having Lover, you can see how they kind of fit together.
Yeah.
And it makes sense to have Reputation kind of split in two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's like she didn't just fully give over to this new style and way of like the music, like the first half. It was like considering that change and adding them into like the rest of it.
Yeah.
And then with Lover it was kind of like I'm just going to expand on that like way of writing again. Like
Yeah.
New Year's Day, when you think about it, how the way it flows into Lover
Yeah.
is like perfect.
Yeah.
Like that song could be a Lover song
Yeah.
because of the way it was, just like the softness of it and the way it was
Yeah.
written, and
Yeah.
it's like mature.
Yeah.
And the whole album feels like a huge mature step for her.
Yeah.
Because like like before we were saying with like Stay Stay Stay, she can have those Taylor Swifty like just fun, silly, like cringy kind of songs. But with Reputation, yeah, she can still like have those songs and like play with that, but a lot of it feels a lot more mature.
Yeah.
Like I would say with Lover, she goes back kind of to that fairy tale sort of way of writing. Like she uses those analogies a lot, which is totally fine. I like them. But it makes sense for that album.
Yeah. Yeah. I think similarly with the way New Year's Day kind of ties into Lover, the opener to Lover, I Forgot That You Existed, really ties into Reputation. It's just kind of this one last like, this is all I'm going to say about it. I forgot you existed. Bye. And then she goes into Lover.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really clever.
Let's just jump into Lover then, because this has been a super long one already.
We got to wrap this up.
Yes. We'll just quickly do a little bit about Lover.
Of course.
And then we'll wrap it up.
Of course.
Imagine if we didn't jump into Taylor Swift as soon as we did. We could have been here for
It'd be like a
God knows
4-hour
how long.
podcast. Jesus.
So Lover was out last week.
Correct.
Thoughts, queries, concerns. What did you think about it?
No concerns whatsoever. I love it completely. I love her it completely.
Thank you. When you first heard Me, because that was
Yes.
we kind of touched on this a little bit.
Yep.
But that was a single for the album.
Mhm.
What were your impressions? Did you think, like, considering Me, did you think Love was going to sound the way it was going to?
No.
What were your first impressions? Like, did you think
First impression, this
I
is
mean-
definitely a Taylor Swift song.
Yeah.
Yeah, that like Stay Stay Stay. Yeah, very much sounds like her. Hated the spelling is fun line, so I'm glad that's gone. Love the music video, but wasn't really concerned about how it would tie in with the album because I know our lead singles are always different.
Yeah.
So I like it. It's not my favorite, but I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, think it'll be fun on tour.
Yeah, true. What about Lover itself? Like, I know we're fresh
Yeah,
off it,
yeah.
but what are your thoughts?
Love it.
Love it.
Yep.
What
I
about
have
it?
no concerns
What
whatsoever.
about it do you love?
All of it. lyrics, the melodies, the productions of her songs.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anything with Jack Antonoff involved, I'm 100% down.
I'm very down for Jack Antonoff.
Yeah. There are lines that she sings in the most unreal way that we've never heard her do before. And I just love what this album means for her. Like, it's the first album that she owns. And it feels like such a big step for her.
Very true. We didn't even talk about or
We
touch
didn't.
on any of that.
I don't want to talk about it.
For anyone who doesn't know, I'm going to quickly mention it
Please.
quickly. But I'm sure someone heard. But Taylor Swift was leaving her original label called Big Machine.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep.
Taylor Swift was pretty much the person who made that label as big as it was.
Correct.
Because she's Taylor Swift.
Yeah. She's the
Um,
top selling artist out of that record company.
Yep. And for so long, because they had her, they had a contract that she was in where she had to just like keep making her albums. And so, unfortunately, because of all of that, they had the control over her masters. And now I'm not 100% sure on the details, but whether she knew properly or didn't, her masters ended up getting sold to Scooter Braun, who is the manager for Justin Bieber and Ariana Grande. And she and him don't get along very much at all. So it's been this whole debacle of being like, well, she doesn't own her master, someone else does. What is that like as an artist and all this sort of stuff? She's recently come out and said that she's going to re-record it all.
I know. Don't even get me started.
So,
That is podcast number
Yeah,
3, Sam.
that'll go for 5 hours because
We're going to have to do this all over again.
literally, and I trust that she would do that.
Yeah.
Because, I
Yeah.
mean, she's generally always does what she says.
Yes.
But anyways, that's not important. What's important is
Lover.
Lover
Mm-hmm.
and how, like, all her other albums have been, like I've said, have just felt like a natural step forward. And I just, every time I'm wondering how could she top this, she finds a way to do it.
Every single time.
We all know that the sort of styles and theme, not as styles, the theme of the songs and like ideas that she have aren't necessarily like groundbreaking or brand new, like singing about love or whatever, but she has found a way to be able to do it where it sounds new
Yep.
and interesting,
Yep.
and that the lyric writing is still beautiful
Yep.
and fun and allows you to like be able to relate to it in some way to your own like experiences.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't love that? Like, just like having an idea about the amount of care that she puts into it is just like
Yep.
incredible to
Yep.
think about. Even some of the songs, like a kind of soft like 80s growing vibe, and some songs feel like British pop, like
Yep.
and like you said, the way she uses her voice in ways we have never like heard before.
Yep.
It's all just like, it doesn't feel forced or like too much. It
No.
just feels right.
Yep.
Like, and that's the best. I mean,
The best.
I don't even know like what we've been talking. We've been probably messaging every other day, exchanging
Yeah.
like what our favorite songs are
Yep.
and like what's changing.
Yep.
So at this point in time, what are your favorite songs off Lover? If you had to
Um,
give 4 song recommendations to anybody,
four.
only 4, what would they be?
The Man.
Oh, good song.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to that yesterday and was having the time of my life in
It
the
was
car.
excellent. It's an excellent song.
It's a good song.
Cornelia Street.
It's a beautiful song. I keep seeing so many people post pictures of Cornelia Street though. I
Yeah.
can't imagine the people on there would be
They'd be hating
very
life right now.
impressed. Yeah.
Daylight. The
Beautiful.
lyrics are getting me there. That's why it's one of my favorites at the moment.
4th song.
4th song is going to be Cruel Summer.
Oh, Cruel Summer is so good.
So good.
It's so easy to hear the songs and be like, this would have been an iconic lead single.
Yep.
But I wonder if it is a conscious choice of hers to choose one that's like pretty different from the rest of the album, to just be like, this is sort of like just a heads up that things are going to be different. Like,
Yeah.
I remember she did, I think that was actually the main reason why she released Me as the single for Lover, because Reputation was so dark and the singles from that were like the whole thing was like black and white, like newsprint color, like it was like that. Whereas this one is obviously completely different and kind of goes back to that original like Speak Now Taylor like idea of love sort of thing. And I think she said that the best way to be able to like bridge the gap in between the two would to be just like, hey, everything is completely different now, like you're just gonna have to like deal with it as it comes sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think that
It's
really
very
worked as
clever.
well. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. What are your top 4?
My top 4, oh,
False God.
False God straight away. Miss Americana and the Heartbreak.
Yeah, nice.
Prince. Cruel Summer is a bop.
Yeah, you
because
love Cruel
the
Summer. That was
bridge
your
of
like
that as
first.
well.
Yeah.
I remember. I remember Red, 1989, and Rep.
Yeah.
All leaked beforehand,
Yes, they did.
and
I don't
I
remember Rep, but
2 days beforehand. I cracked.
you're the worst.
I'm the worst. But do you want to be? You'll actually be really impressed. Lover leaked 2 days beforehand.
And you didn't
I
listen
didn't
to it?
listen to it.
I'm so proud of you.
I know. I was so proud as well. I was like, I cannot listen to it. So the first time we were listening to it in the car was legit the first time. And the first time
You're
I heard
learning.
Cruel Summer, I waited. The first time I heard Cruel Summer, and it was the bridge, and it just kept building, and it gets to this. Oh, you
Yeah.
just have to listen to it to explain it. But it's like he looks like really like the devil. It just goes like boom. and
That's
I
one of those
just-
that's one of those lines that she vocalizes, and you're like, Taylor, where
Yeah.
have you been
That
this
was
entire time?
Literally one of those songs where it's like that's how I wanted it to go, and she
Yeah.
went there and she did it and she nailed it, and I was so happy.
Straight off the bat, first
Oh,
listen, that was your favorite
That
song.
one. So it's Cruel Summer, Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince,
Nice.
False God, and I would say Soon You'll Get Better.
Yep.
But I think that's just always gonna be one of my favorites. I'm not gonna include
fair
that.
enough.
Instead, I will do London Boy.
Yeah, nice.
Because I am here
So
for
cute.
Idris Elba at the
100%.
start, talking about
100%.
riding London on his scooter
Yeah.
around London.
We could ride around London on my scooter.
Yeah, but it's
So
just
cute.
such a good album, and I'm so excited for the tour. We're gonna
Yes.
be going together.
Yes.
Um,
No one else is invited.
no,
Leave us alone.
literally, and hopefully she does go for a smaller venue.
Oh, I hope so.
It's hard because she is such a big superstar that she could just do stadium shows and get heaps of money that way.
Yeah.
But she said she wants to do smaller ones. If she does smaller ones, just as many people would probably go.
Yep.
Because there'd probably be more nights.
Yeah. Be a longer tour, but
Yeah. But
you gotta do what you gotta do, Taylor Swift.
exactly.
Take one for the team, buddy.
And that means re-release Lover with more deluxe tracks
Please.
as soon as you announce the tour.
Yes, please.
Do them all together. And then put a music video out for Afterglow.
Nice.
That's a pretty song.
What is it?
I'm always curious about the songs that don't end up on the albums
Yeah.
because they're actually she's actually really strict on that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Especially for her studio albums. If there's any outtakes or anything, it's very rare for them to ever come out or anything happen. There was one that came out at the start of the year actually for Speak Now called Let Go in brackets Battle. And that's actually a really good song.
Oh.
So it makes me think about what other potential gems could be out
Yeah.
there.
Well, maybe if she's re-recording her masters, she'll make
Oh my
like
god,
the full and the
Sam.
deluxe, the original. Like she'll squish the deluxe into the original album and then make a second deluxe version.
Oh,
Or maybe she'll just do an entirely new album of unreleased songs.
that would be amazing.
I heart ? Thanks, Taylor. Bye.
Oh my god. That is a beautiful song.
I love it.
She has a lot of... I feel like we could talk
I mean,
about-
we got Sparks Fly on Speak Now. There's a lot we can
that's
do.
Very true. I
I
mean,
think we've covered a lot.
we'll have to do a part 2.
Please.
I mean, it's certain at this point.
Yes. There's
But-
so much
That would be so fun.
left to discuss.
I think we're going to probably wrap it up here. I think that's
sounds
the best
yeah.
idea.
Yeah.
My brain's getting fried.
Yeah, it's midnight. Nearly. My bad.
Well, we're going to have to wrap it up now.
Aw.
If you want more, we'll have to have Sam back. But thank you so much
Thanks
for coming and doing
having
this with me, Sam.
That was so fun.
I'm so glad you enjoyed it. I'm glad. I knew we would be able to talk about Taylor for a long time, but I didn't think that it would actually be this long.
Yeah. Look.
We should not be underestimated.
I feel like I'm kind of impressed.
Me too.
You're amazing.
You're
Thank you for doing this with
Oh my
me.
god, thanks for having me.
You'll have
That's
to
so
be
much
back.
fun.
I'm sure you
yeah,
will.
yeah. I'll see you next week.
Yeah, literally. Is there anything that you like want to like share or plug? Have you got like anything fun?
I have a saying.
Yeah.
It's be nice and tell good jokes.
Love that.
I say it all the time to everyone ever.
Well,
Be nice and tell good jokes.
there you go. Just be nice and tell good jokes.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening. I'll record
Thanks,
an outro later.
guys.
But remember to be nice and tell good jokes.
Yep.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Well, that went for a long time. Thank you again, Sam, for coming on the podcast. And thank you, Taylor Swift, for purely existing. Thank you also for listening. You, yes, you. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like and subscribe. At the moment, we're just on SoundCloud at the moment of recording this. But I am hoping to put it out onto YouTube and on iTunes as soon as I figure all that fun stuff out. But for now, thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.